Welcome, folks. I'm Deeg. This is Basement Side Weekly. Here today to talk about Planetside's Outfit Wars once again. 3 weeks straight. The title of the show is Playing the Fool. And we're going to find out why. On March the 10th, so sometime last week, about 5 days ago, Rel posted the following. 3 outfits have had their scores zeroed and have been disqualified from this Outfit War season due to match fixing / deliberately undermining the spirit of play. It's up to all of us to ensure the integrity of this event. These situations will not be taken lightly. Well. Last week we talked about the unspoken code of conduct, which we're going to review here just to set our foundations. And we all wondered how this unspoken code of conduct would be wielded by Rel and Rogue Planet against the variety of shenanigans we've seen occurring on the Outfit Wars stage. There's behavior between 2 outfits that effectively resulted in a 2v1 situation with no fear of reprisal. We're clarifying a stance on this in particular. We being Rel and Rogue Planet. While there is a certain amount of focused fire and tense alliances expected in the 1v1v1 format, we also expect each faction to be playing to win. It goes contrary to the spirit of tournament format and the game in general, when teams outright refuse to fight one another, when taken to extremes and live circumstances, and here's where I'm a bit iffy. These sorts of situations would be considered grafing by our code of conduct. There is certainly a degree of leniency in the sandbox, but entering an organized format with rewards means that these rules need to be taken seriously to ensure the integrity of the event. A couple things here. Everyone 2v1s in live. So the equivalency being drawn here, I didn't highlight this last week, is something that I think is a little tenuous. What part of the code of conduct is he talking about? Okay, I got curious about this now. ADD time. Let's check this shit. May not harass or threaten other players. May not use bad language. May not impersonate an employee. May not violate any laws, local regulations. May not modify the game client or the website. May not arrange for the exchange or transfer of pirated software while on Planetside. Okay, interesting. Follow the instructions of authorized personnel while in-game or on the forums. May not organize or be a member of any outfits, squads, platoons, or other groups within Planetside 2 that are based on or espouse any racist, sexist, etc., etc. Fine. Not what we're looking for. Users may not give false information or intentionally hide any information when registering for their Planetside 2 account. That might be something. Users will not upload or transmit on Planetside 2 or on any Planetside 2 website or webpage any copyrighted content that they do not own all the rights to. Okay, fine. Users will not attempt to interfere with, hack into, or decipher any transmissions to or from the servers running Planetside. Users will not exploit any bug in Planetside, will not communicate the existence of any such exploitable bug, either directly or through public posting to any other user of Planetside 2. Hope wall jumping is not a bug. RIP. Users will not use any known or unknown exploits, actions that grant the user unintended or unnatural benefits in game, or that are otherwise contrary to the spirit of the game, or what the developers intended. And users will not communicate the existence of any such exploit, either directly or through public posting, to any other user of Planetside 2. Such activities include any sort of boosting, stat padding, kill trading. Users will promptly report any such activity. Boosting, stat padding, or skill trading. Kill trading. This might be where this is coming from. Because you can consider deliberate refusal to fight like a kind of stat pad, perhaps? Or a kill trade, territory trade? Users will not either intentionally, individually, or together with their squad, outfit, or other groups engage in any intentional griefing of your fellow players. Griefing entails repeatedly killing of selected players or groups of players within their own empire, or any other grief activity that DBG deems inappropriate in its sole and absolute discretion. Yeah, this is the hammer right here, number 14. So basically what this is saying is that people as individuals or outfits may not do anything that DBG says they shouldn't. Anyway, the purpose of these things is to give usually the company wide latitude to take action. So it's not surprising this is broad. Like, that's the intent. That's usually the way these things work. But it is, I think, interesting that Rel would point to it. I don't know why I missed this last week. Anyway, what else? There's a degree of leniency in the sandbox. Entering an organized format with rewards means that these rules may need to be taken seriously to ensure the integrity of the event. In the future, we'll be heavily punishing behaviors that go against the spirit of the event. Punitive measures include, but are not limited to, penalties to placement or scoring values in the current outfit war. This is exactly what happened to these 3 outfits who got penalized. Disqualification of the outfit as members in the active season with no rewards. Maybe this too, not sure. The ability to enlist in future outfit wars. Don't think this got done. Suspensions or banning the accounts. No. Just banning the outfit, no. It should come as no surprise that there are some players and outfits intentionally willing to ruin the event for others, and the severity of our punishment will align with the severity of the infractions and the history of those inciting them. Ultimately, we want this event to be for fun for the players, audience, casters, and community, and support of the players is required to make sure this happens. So who got banned? Before I get into this, I feel like I should clear the air on a couple things. I'm not here to weigh in on what outfit wars should be. I don't find that very interesting. Certainly it is of interest to me, but not enough interest for me to actually turn this webcam on and talk to the public like this. What I find of interest are the attitudes that are being expressed onto Outfit Wars that existed before Outfit Wars was in the game. So we've heard complaints from a lot of people, and most prominently Shoctorr, that the format is not competitive. It's not 1v1. It's not competitive. The best team should win. 1v1v1 is inherently bad. This is an opinion that's commonly held by players who are starved, I think, who seem to be starved of content that allows them to put their skills to the test in Planetside in a proper and rigorous fashion. There are people who have developed their skills in Planetside to such a high point that there just aren't a lot of ways for them to push it any further. And it's appropriate for folks like that to have an avenue to push it further with something a little bit more confined, rigorous, narrowed down. Something like a 6v6 infantry, something like a lane smash, something like that, where a winner can be picked. Because one of the cool things about competition is you get to have a story of a winner and a story of a loser. And when you have 1v1v1, that gets significantly muddied, as we'll see. I'm sympathetic with that need. I'm sympathetic with people who are either salty vets or not salty vets who have needed to see from Planetside a glimmer that the game cared about the way that those people care about Planetside. And I think that as cool as all the new content we've seen over the last year and a half has been, this content has not hit that note. So I understand the resentment. Rewinding back to the first week I did coverage 2 weeks ago, talking about the space pigs and their resentment of recursion and their attitude that they deserve to lose in a dishonest fashion because the pigs did not approve of them in the way they played the game. and thought that they hacked, they cheated, they played dishonestly. Essentially fighting fire with fire. And this goes back to the title of this episode, Playing the Fool. But it's all of it comes from resentment. Salty vets are resentful towards the game for not providing them a way to rigorously test their skills and pay off the investment they've put into the game. And players who are longtime enjoyers of Planetside, who have not climbed the competency curve to be very good at the game, look at good players and misattribute their skill towards dishonest means, hacking, cheating, using recursion, the stat tracker. There are people, of course, who cheat. Of course there are. But I played with and against a lot of these great players. They're not cheating. They're just good. And you make yourself look like a fool by accusing them of anything else. And lastly, I wonder if there's resentment on behalf of RPG or Rel or... Hey, Pixis Child. I am just talking about Outfit Wars in general. Does that answer your question? Just, I'm going to go over some of the things that have occurred in the community in the last week. What server do I play on? A mix of Emerald and Connery lately. Why do you ask? Name? Is this an interview? Am I being interviewed for something? You're going to look up my stats to see if what I'm saying is worth a shit? You can look them up. I make no claim to be a great player. My name on my character on Emerald that I've had the most time on is Deeg MVS. Here, put it in the chat. You're going to look up my stats to see if they match my appearance. I don't know what that means. Do what you gotta. What are my stats? Let's look them up for the whole stream, shall we? What's the best place people use it? Is it Fizu? Is that a good place to look? Of course I'm a VS player. I look the part. One KD figured. Buy yourself, Pixis Child. You're a perfect representation of why I'm doing this stream. I encourage you to hang out. You might learn a thing or two. So here's my stats. This character actually has a 1.9 KD. I primarily play Light Assault. I think it's really fun. I spent a lot of time last year playing with Bushido Way on Emerald. I eventually decided that I didn't want to put time into it. That was a fantastic little encounter. It's exactly the thing that I'm here to talk about. This person boiled me down to a couple of data points and dismissed me. I'm not even offended. I'm really not upset at all. It's such a perfect illustration of the bad behavior that happens in these communities and that aggregates up to some of these phenomena we're seeing. It's gorgeous. You're offended because you're also 1 KD Vanu. I don't know where he got 1 KD from. Maybe he's looking like the last week where I've been kicking the rust off, where I probably have had a 1 KD. But I wouldn't say that's representative of my overall performance. So here it is for King and Country. I have almost a 2 infantry KD. That's my KPM. My IVI I've always been embarrassed about. Right there, 679. And KPM, there it is. Under 1. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. I'm not the best player at Planetside, and in fact, I've chosen not to be a great player. There was a moment last year where I've been putting a bunch of time into the game, trying to get good, trying to get better, and actually really improving a lot. But I made a decision because I was not happy. Being good at Planetside didn't make me happy, is what I realized. So what did I do about this? Well, I can tell you what I didn't do. I didn't keep playing Planetside, growing ever more resentful that it wasn't making me happy. I didn't stream myself calling people dog shit. I didn't post on the forums that people are dog shit. I didn't blame Rel for my unhappiness. I didn't do these things. Instead, I took a break from the game and worked on myself and my resentment and my anger. And that's why I'm doing the podcast. That's why I'm doing this content. My IVI is lower because your HSR is so low because you hip fired over just for HSR. Yeah. And I mean, like, you can look at my class played stats here. I'm astonished I have 14% heavy assault. I thought it was way lower than that, but 80% light assault. Like, I don't play ADS classes, really. Even though you just spend a fair amount of time ADSing. Anyway, I have basic competence when it comes to Planetside, but I'm not a great player. Well, that's what we're here to talk about. The name of this is Playing the Fool, because that is what I'm seeing in the Planetside community a lot of. I'm seeing a bunch of people acting out and projecting things onto Outfit Wars and each other. And it saddens me. It saddens me because I've been there. I know what it's like to be pissed off about a video game. And I think that the lovely people who I know and have met, including you, Pixis Child, I'm including you in this. You don't deserve to be pissed off. You don't deserve to be resentful. You deserve to reveal satisfaction and pursue it. So the 3 outfits that got banned, BMLx and RWCN from SolTech, got zeroed out their Outfit Wars points for colluding against AMXE, I think is the name of the outfit, the tag. Actually, we don't know officially why they got their points removed. All we know is what Rel showed in his tweet. Match fixing or deliberately undermining the spirit of play. Hydra also got removed. And I have here a clip from Shoctorr interviewing Gretchen, who I think is a leader or officer of Hydra, after learning about the ban. And we're just going to watch this interaction and see what we can hear from it that is potentially of use.
Gretchen, you want to hop on the call and talk about it? I'm down. Okay, here, jump in the Discord and then I'll drag you up to the locked channel. Oh no, I grabbed the whole thing. Gretchen.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay. It's late, but I can't stop laughing.
All right, go ahead. What do you think happened?
Okay.
I can't stop laughing. Gretchen thinks this is funny. He's overcome with entertainment and enjoyment about having his points removed. Why would he feel that way? If you had taken the time to organize for competition like this, why would you feel this way? Well, humor can disguise pain. We know this. So maybe the humor is a front. Or maybe the humor covers something else, a deeper pain.
So I have 2 theories. One is that they actually got mad that we played on alt accounts because a bunch of us played for Bling and you're not allowed to play on the same account on the same server, right? So we made new accounts and leveled new characters. Either they got mad at that Or there was the thing that we played a match and one side had a team and the other team had like 3 people. The TR had 3 people. And we completely focused VS and let TR have second, which didn't really matter because both got kicked out. But maybe they got mad at that and were like, "Oh, you were over focusing one team." And
Wasn't
sort of
one
like
team
double
only
teaming,
had
but
like 7 people or something though?
yeah, they had like 3 or 4 people. And I think people got really pissed about that. So maybe they misunderstood that situation because
I'm gonna listen to that again.
All right, go ahead. What do you think happened?
okay, so I have 2 theories. One is that
Two
they
theories.
actually got mad that we played on alt accounts because a bunch of us played for Bling, and you're not
Got mad that a bunch of them played on alt accounts.
allowed to play on the same account on the same server, right? So we made new accounts and leveled new characters. Either they got mad at that, or there was the thing that we played a match and one side had a team and the other team had like 3 people. The TR had 3 people. And we completely focused VS and let TR have second, which didn't really matter because both got kicked out. But maybe they got mad at that and were like, "Oh, you
Both got kicked out? Kicked out of what? Sorry, I see a lot of things he's saying.
Gretchen, you want to hop on the call and
Let's
talk
do it
about
one more
it? I'm
time.
down. Okay, here, jump in the Discord and then I'll drag you up to the locked channel. Oh no, I grabbed the whole thing. Gretchen,
yeah,
how are you?
I'm okay. It's late, but I can't stop laughing."
All right, go ahead. What do you think happened?
Okay, so I have 2 theories. One is that they actually got mad that we played on alt accounts because a bunch of us played for Bling, and you're not allowed to play on the same account on the same server, right? So we made new accounts and leveled new characters. Either they got mad at that, or there was the thing that we played a match and one side had a team and the other team had like 3 people. The TR had 3 people. And we completely focused VS and let TR have second, which didn't really matter because both got kicked out. But
Theory number 2 is that they focused the team that the faction that actually brought players instead of the one that had 3 people. So that's a garbage theory. More likely, it has to do with the bling ringing, right?
maybe they got mad at that and were like, "Oh, you were over focusing one team," and
Wasn't
sort of
one
like double
team
teaming,
only had
but
like 7 people or something though?
yeah, they had like 3 or 4 people. And I think people got really pissed about that. So maybe they misunderstood that situation because, I mean, I was DFC. And from my understanding, I was like, okay, I can just warp gate these 48 people and then the other 3 people don't matter. So
That seems fine.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with
The
that.
thing is, it's kind of weird though that like usually an investigation type thing happen. Not to make it like super serious, I guess, but like
I think the idea is that they let the Ghost Cappers win to BM boys. Interesting. So wait, the team that had 3 players outscored the team that brought a full roster in the Hydra match? Is that what happened? I don't know. God, I hope that's not it. If that's the case, and maybe it's not, but if that is the case, I mean, it's a non-match to start with. Like, I don't think you can use that as grounds to take action. I don't think Rel would do that. Just an intuition.
usually someone will go in and then they'll be like, okay, let's talk to all the parties. Like,
yeah,
did you even get talked to or?
no, and no one from my outfit that I know of, and I would know about it. I'm pretty sure if someone got talked to, like I'm pretty certain people would tell me. I did ask Rel to clarify why, and I listed the 2 reasons, but and I can't wait to see because right now I'm just dying laughing because it's so funny to me.
I mean, yeah, it's because I mean they didn't really. I mean, you guys didn't.
So they willingly acknowledge that they circumvented the explicit barring of playing for multiple outfits on the same server. Like, ringing is one of those things that I think is impractical to actually enforce restrictions on. And the tweet that Rel put out said it was about match fixing or unethical behavior. So I don't know. I have some more information here. I'm not going to form an opinion just yet. Just listening. Kai says, same thing happened with round one on SolTech. AM, XC, warp gated HH, who they had a rivalry with on live and let the TR ghost outfit take second. Yeah. What's the line between match fixing? I guess it's match fixing if you're either playing both sides of a collusion or if you are colluding with another person against the third party. Or if all three are colluding to create a certain outcome, right?
I don't really care about outfit wars. You guys are just playing.
No, I signed us up because I thought it was funny. And it turned out even funnier. I honestly, I kind of wish my account got banned because I'd be going out with a bang. But it's funny enough. That's why we got DQ'd from outfit wars.
He wishes his account was banned so we can go out with a bang. What the fuck's with that? I watched this once before, and this is part of why I titled this show "Playing the Fool." Why would someone do that? Why would someone act badly, knowingly, think it is funny, and then hope that they get punished for it? I'm going to try not to armchair psychologize at all. But that kind of behavior, you see it all the time in gaming. And it doesn't do anyone any favors. Frustration and resentment I get. But man, we need to watch our fucking resentment, gamers, boys, girls. If you get to the point where you're going to elaborate lengths to make someone else who's earnestly engaging in a game with you a victim for your enjoyment so you can get punished, there is something fucked that happened further along, that happened earlier on the road. And it ain't Rel's fault. It ain't Rel's fault. At least not that part of it. First world problems. Yeah.
It's for playing. Yeah.
Dang, I thought NA would be the first people to have the big blast, but EU taking all the shine right now. Not fair.
Yeah. Sorry for actually turning up. I know we should have just been another ghost match turned up with 5 people. I'm sorry, Rel.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Ghost
I think
matches
with it,
fucking
where it's
suck.
like, okay, you want the matches to be good, but then there's not enough people. But then you also don't want people to play in multiple of the matches. But then, I don't know. What else are we supposed to play for at this point?
I mean, I get it that they don't want it, but at the same time, it's nothing you can ever fully avoid because they can't, like, you can completely spoof, like, playing on the same account, right? Playing on a different account. Unless we admit it, there's no way to ever prove it.
Yeah, that's...
So what he's saying is that it's possible to take measures to keep your identity on multiple different accounts completely separate. Yeah, the thing is, I think most people who are ringing are not bothering with those measures. Things like playing on VPNs to spoof your IP, things like using different PCs. I'm not sure if there's any kind of like hardware linkage that's done in the data logging. I don't know if that's a thing, but I could imagine it being a thing. But I mean, these are Planetside players. This is not high effort trolling. This is just people misbehaving. The question in my mind is why? Okay. When I first in my head said, okay, Greg, we're going to cover some outfit war stuff. The why of that why I would even do this. I'm not here to gossip. I don't care about it. I am worried about I am how can I say this? I have been working hard on my own gamer soul in the last year and a half. And I have a lot of sympathy for people who are using games in a way that is not healthy. I don't know if that's what's happening here. But resentment at this scale, which I see almost every day in Planetside, which I saw when I logged into this stream, and someone looked at me and said, "Give me your character name. Oh, you have bad stats. That lines up. You look bad, so you must play bad. Typical Vanu." Why would someone do that? What would make someone feel bad enough that they would think that it was a good idea to take time to log into my stream, ask me the questions, look up my stats, and then type a judgment at me and leave? I'm not offended at all. But I want to seriously examine this question of what would make someone do that. Who kicked this guy's dog? Nothing I did or didn't do. I had nothing to do with the thing that that person did. Hot off a bad session in Planetside. Yeah. And these are the kinds of dynamics that I'm conscious of in this game that I really think that we all owe it to ourselves to become more conscious of in ourselves. And look, I hold myself accountable to this too. Anyway, let's see what else there is to get out of this interview.
So it's like
Just
it's like
weird.
no, it's not an enforceable rule. So it's like, bruh.
Well, I'm just so usually you would expect to be reached out to. Like I'd expect
Yeah.
like like 3 outfit leaders minimum, 1 from each faction, I guess. But I guess
Yeah,
you
I
could
mean,
say
Rel
it was...
knows me. Rel knows he can talk to me. I've talked to Rel before. We find like I guess he might be afraid of drama because I am known for that. But yeah, I
Yeah, it's interesting that there was no investigation. I mean, if there was an investigation, it was conducted behind closed doors. I think that's okay. I mean, this is an alpha. Okay. I'm not going to excuse everything about Outfit Wars by saying it's alpha. But I can understand why, for a system that is clearly incomplete, there would not be a large formal investigation. Also, the consequences to these people is just that they're not going to be able to win it. That's it. Consequences are very minor, especially for the Chinese outfits. Not explaining clearly to them was a mistake. Yeah, there's some interesting dimensions to the whole Chinese thing. I saw something else about that today. Apparently, a bunch of Chinese Planetside players are trying to tank the Steam reviews for Planetside. Um, some more interesting player psychology in that. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
no, I have not been reached out to, and to my knowledge, the other outfit leaders haven't either. But the one of them that I have interacted with before fucking hates me, so maybe he didn't tell me. So I don't know.
I mean, I did see a lot of Reddit posts about them hating both of the outfits, Bling and Hydra, where it
Yeah.
was like people saying that they rigged it and the leaders are playing for both sides. But like, I don't know, like, am I gonna get banned because I was like streaming? Like where, I don't know where the line is. I guess where does the line drawn?
Yeah, you've also played for Help and for 69KD, right?
Yeah,
That's on.
So Shoctorr, one of the biggest streamers of Planetside on Twitch, is ringing. Publicly. And he calls the format dog shit while covering it. This is the behavior I'm talking about. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I love it. Now, I think it's necessary to love a game like Planetside to a certain extent before you care enough to give negative feedback. Fair. Fair. I'm just trying to decide what I think about the fact that Shoctorr is ringing. I'm not actually sure if ringing is something that needs really to be enforced in something like in Outfit Wars, because I think the way that Planetside is designed, it might not be feasible to do so. Actually keep track of people. It's so easy to create new accounts. I mean, if you just take the low-hanging fruit of doing IP checking, IP logging. Yeah, people have dynamic IPs. True. People use VPNs, true, but it'll still let you catch a bunch of people. And sometimes with competitions like these, it's not about getting every single violator to be punished. It's about getting just enough violators punished so you can make a show of it. So you can scare all the other people who were intending to act well anyway into continuing to act well. Because if you see folks like Shoctorr doing what they're doing, people take it as license to do something they otherwise might not. I learned today about this principle. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It's a kind of rejection of morality. The idea that morality doesn't exist. That all there is aversion to consequences from your actions. So if you can get away with something, you will do it. It's a kind of almost nihilistic way of viewing the world and its meaning.
The same
Stream
server,
both.
like
Yeah. So, but I guess
Like-
it's more of the match fixing side. I guess they think that you guys.
That seems more
so-
likely to
But
me.
how do you fix a match if you just
But
win?
we didn't fix it. We didn't talk.
Yeah.
Like first off, we played to win, and we didn't talk to the TR guys. We just thought, okay, these three people aren't a threat, and it's easier for us to warp gate 48 people than have them jump around the map and actually have to deal with them. I don't like that's a viable tactic in my opinion. That's not match fixing.
Yeah.
So I don't really get that, but hopefully Rel replies to me. I doubt it. I don't even care about getting the decision reversed. I just sort of want to know what's going.
Yeah,
It's
and then it's
fucking
also
funny
just
to
like
me.
it's weird that like the lead game designer of a game handling it. Like I would expect like it to be thrown over to someone else. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be good if we
I
can get
feel
another
it's
face
weird
on
to
this.
hear, like Rel handling it. Like I guess he is again like the face of the game, but like it's just weird seeing like a lead game developer managing like a competitive event as well. I don't know.
Definitely, I would give them the benefit of the doubt. That's just a case of a small team, though, or just Rel's Twitter account being used for it. I don't know. But yeah, it's honestly, I'm this might sound really weird to people, but I'm really euphoric right now. I'm so happy this is really funny to me. I'm enjoying this drama so much.
I mean, yeah, it's at least it's something to talk about. I don't know. Like on one hand, it's weird because, yeah, it's just a game mode that isn't very competitive, but then people keep. I don't know.
It's just a game mode that isn't very competitive. Man, this guy really cares about it being 1v1. Really cares.
It's like they hate the Kool-Aid, but then they keep drinking it. I don't know how else to explain it. Where it's like it's not competitive, it's stupid, it sucks, and then they turn around and then take it super serious. Oh, Kelitho's not. Holy shit! They take it super serious like a second later.
Like, people that explain to me how freeways are just the way they are, and sometimes the good team loses. Explain to me after that I should have let boys, the VS outfit that turned up for 48 win just because they had more people. And it's like, bro, you literally just explained to me that I can do whatever I want in a freeway 2 days ago. It's like you can't have both sides.
Yeah, I don't think the post at least from Rel, it doesn't feel like the unspoken code of conduct one, because like I read it on stream. I even have like a YouTube video of me like saying like, oh, like this is what I think, this is what I don't think, but like my understanding of it didn't come across as like match fixing, or like, first thing, it doesn't even feel like you guys fixed the match, but second,
No,
it seemed like
there was
the
no
intent of
discussion with-
collusion.
there was no discussion with the T outfits. We had, I know Smellbob and Toby MK were both fighting the T outfit multiple times. They were in my squad. I'm sure there was other people, but they were in my squad, so I knew. Like there was people fighting them. It's not like we completely ignored them. Sure, we had them let a few bases that we probably could have held, but it didn't really matter for us because we won anyway.
But again, they have the least pop, so it's like you can just let them do whatever they want for a bit because you know
Yeah,
you can just drop a
exactly.
squad and take it back.
Yeah, that was my plan. That was exactly my thought process when I was seeing that match. So yeah,
Makes sense to me.
I really hope we get.
I don't think that's
clarification
it.
from Rel, and it's hopefully gonna be even.
I
Funnier.
wouldn't DQ
Honestly,
these
I'm
guys
just
for
in it
that.
For the drama, as usual.
True. Well, yeah, I'd like to. I also was like, I said who, but now that we know who, it's more of a matter of why. Like I am very interested as well because I don't know. Even your two ideas there didn't really like. They don't align with what I think the whole post from previous was. Like you guys didn't reach out to either of those outfits and say like, let's focus one.
Yeah,
but maybe it was just the ringers thing. Maybe you guys took it too far. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we had like 10 people that also play on Bling, play for H, and one that also plays for EU, another Stackfoot on Cobalt. But you know, I don't know. I didn't interpret the patch notes, especially because it was only in the patch notes as binding like that. Because like it's common practice to play on alt accounts, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird to me.
That's
There's
again.
no rules
Like,
in
I don't
game.
know.
It's like hard.
Maybe I'm next. Like I don't know where the line is drawn with this shit. Because it's like
It's gonna be
playing with
real
two different
funny if
outfits.
everyone gets their alt accounts taken or some shit.
Yeah, and then less people will get to play. It's gonna be weird.
I think
Yeah, that's
my
not gonna
ult's even
happen.
on some Jaeger account if that gets deleted. Oh, it's gonna be so funny. I'm a hop out and let you do your thing unless you've got any questions for me or anything you want to discuss.
I don't even know. There's like no specifics to it, so I don't even have any questions.
Okay. Thanks, Shoctorr, for doing that interview with Gretchen from Hydra. Kai says, especially for Chinese outfits, not explaining it clearly was a mistake. Second place NC outfit in SolTech is almost entirely a ringer team on brand new accounts. Yeah, I guess the main thing with ringing that I see as really being a problem is that if you're playing for multiple outfits and they get matched up against each other, like that's pretty dubious. I guess right now the way Outfit Wars is designed, if you play for multiple outfits of the same faction that are never going to play against each other, maybe there's like a justification there. But if you're playing on potentially both sides with two different groups that are playing against each other, like collusion is kind of almost implied by that. Especially if this is not just a couple people, but like a squad's worth of people or two squads worth of people. I mean, I don't blame people for feeling bad about this. There's some more discussion about it. Let's have a look. This is a fantastically titled thread on Reddit from a non-user no name, and who you can see I've given the tag Salty Vet. We'll see why. Let's see what this person has to say. Outfit Wars, Incompetence and Ego. So you make a format that requires 48 players. The next surprise, Pikachu, and people from other outfits join together to fill the pop. You make a 3-way fight format. The next surprise, when one team with equal pop gets focused. If only people had said this format and this competition were stupid and absolutely not designed well. Oh wait, that was the overwhelming response. The absolute ego trip to just ignore the community made competitive formats to make your own, and when it fails, it gets abused exactly how people told you it would. Nothing gets changed. Wow, this drips. This fucking drips. Okay. So, the first sentence, the first paragraph, implies that it's justified to collude in order to get 150 people into a match. The 48 players completely justifies it. 48 players is so ridiculous that people should be able to do whatever they want to fill that up, which is a stupid fucking thing to say. Let's see what else. Make a three-way fight format. The next surprising one team with equal pop gets focused. Yeah, this is a surmise. This is like this is referring to Hydra focusing the team with the full pop and warp gating them. We don't know that there's any surprise about this. We don't even know it has anything to do with their disqualification. It's a guess. And what else here? If only people had said this format and this competition were stupid and absolutely not designed well, wait, that was overwhelming response. So, I guess people gave negative feedback. The absolute ego trip just... because people gave negative feedback and their feedback wasn't addressed sufficiently to this person's tastes, the person or people who produced it are going on an ego trip. Does that seem reasonable to y'all? When it fails and gets abused, exactly how people told you it would, nothing gets changed. So abuse should lead to change. This person believes the proper vector towards changing things is to abuse others and systems. Are we seeing the way this person's mind works a little bit? So now hydration's banned, but pigs and R18 aren't. What a laugh. There was no precedent set when R18 and pigs misbehaved. We all know why. Like, the reason that the precedent was set is because of pigs and R18. Maybe this person will say one thing that makes sense. Let's see if we can find something. Frankly, I'm sick and tired of this game direction. Okay. Legit. You're allowed to feel that way. Respect. Core game issues that have existed for years aren't a priority at all for this team. Again, fair. Like I say, I think a lot of the resentment we see from highly skilled or highly organized players is the fact that they don't see what they want in the game. Get it? Totally get it. Instead, we have this awfully balanced competitive outfit wars. Mission and lore, max buffs, the completely broken C4 rocklet meta, Giga air-to-ground farming bastions, absolutely dog base redesigns on Esamir. So instead of getting things that appeal to this player's tastes, we have all these things. Clearly, this person wants something that is actually competitive. This is echoing a lot of what we hear from Shoctorr. Clearly doesn't value missions or lore. Clearly doesn't like max suits. You know, join the club. I'm in that club. C4 rocklet meta, is that actually a problem? Is it really a problem? I don't know. Bastions being air-to-ground farmers. Yeah, it is kind of sad that bastions aren't more than air-to-ground farming. Would like to see an event or alert designed around them. Something. I don't know. Dog base redesigns. I can't comment on the quality of those redesigns. I haven't played with them enough. What's up with Planetside players and calling everything dog shit? Never heard this until recently. I think a lot of these people who feel bad can just talk to each other a lot, and they kind of pick up each other's language. It's actually just kind of natural. When you associate with people over time, you pick up each other's language tics. It's funny that he called it dog, not dog shit. Maybe that gets filtered or something. I legitimately and unironically cannot think of a game update that made the core gameplay actually better. Every update that improved the game was just removing something stupid that should never have been added in the first place. This person is really unsatisfied with the direction of the game. Adding more and more content just for the sake of content. More and more bloat to the game, more and more stupid gimmicks. You have successfully made this game into a niche game that nobody asked for and clearly very few players want. We keep hearing about how the new player experience will be the priority. No amount of stupid tutorials or hints will help any new player not get completely overwhelmed by all the bloat in this game. No amount of tutorials will help any new players not get consistently shit on by force multiplier spam. This game needs a serious spring cleaning of a lot of bloat and a lot of diverse play styles, and a new game direction focused on just making the core gameplay better. Well, I think this is actually two different posts. And I think the first part of it, about all the outfit wars stuff, you can just throw out. It's actually not worth reading. It's just a player venting frustration. The bottom part of it, I actually kind of get. They don't like the game direction. They're upset about it. They feel resentful. New player experience won't work. Actually, this is one of my big things with Planetside. So I think the new player experience is a red herring. I don't know about the idea of spring cleaning diverse play styles. I think that's one of the main things that's makes Planetside interesting. But I think a focus on core gameplay has merit. I mean, existing game audiences will always tell you that they want you to focus on core gameplay and bugs over new content. But realistically, the way games are made and presented and the way actual decisions get made at developers and publishers, it's not really possible to go that route. And if you do go that route, you usually don't get the outcome you want. Look at OMFG, right? OMFG was a refocus on the game performance, something a lot of people complained about. And it whacked all development on the game for months. And long term, it's had not made a dent in the way the game performs. Kai says, I agree with the second part, to be honest. So much bloat in the game, and most of it's based around killing things as quickly as possible, usually infantry. Yeah. These are actually like fair complaints and worth examining. Anyway. Part of the reason I named this, I gave this person the salty vet tag on my Reddit is because if you look at this person's post, like there's venting frustration a lot. And it goes back to what I was talking about the salty gamer archetype of someone who cannot contain their frustration with an experience that they cannot stop repeating. The idea that insanity is when you keep repeating something, expecting a different result, right? I'm not sure if this person is insane. People who do this are insane. I can totally relate to the feeling of despair and frustration about a game that I really loved fading in my mind and becoming less fun. The more sophisticated I get at playing it and understanding it, and the more I can see the flaws, and the more I don't see the things I love about the game get reinforced in actual content drops. I get that. I've been there with other games, many other games. I've been down this road many fucking times. And this is why I come down on this by saying, I just cautioned all gamers, don't blame the game. If you feel resentful, just let yourself vent. It's okay to vent. It's healthy to vent. Be cognizant of the damage you do when you do vent and the bridges you may burn. But if you can get away without burning a bridge, it's healthy to vent. But do not get stuck. If you get stuck in a cycle of resentment and repetition, you are denying yourself the satisfaction and the better life that you owe yourself. And you're making a bet on something that you know won't give you the return that you want. And then to take that feeling, those negative feelings, turn around and project them onto the world, onto the developers, onto other players. You see that, right? Kai just said, check out user Euro Scumbag if you want to see a peak salty vet. I've seen lots of salty vets on Planetside. It's kind of a trope at this point. Like the god Planetside infantry player where all they do is stream playing Planetside and talk shit. It's actually hard for me to watch when someone does that. And not because I'm offended by the shit talking, because I feel like I'm watching someone. I think I'm watching someone like strip naked and take a shit on stage. Like they're exposing their uncontained inner resentment in a way that is uncontrolled without proper boundaries. And I'm embarrassed on their behalf when I see behavior like this. And as someone who has been there, I have a lot of sympathy. I'm not in any position to tell people what to do. I'm only identifying it. But there are better ways than sticking your feet in the mud of a game that you can no longer bring yourself to do anything other than hate. There are better ways. And you can even find a way to re-engage with the game after you get your shit sorted. Most angry guy on Reddit. Planetside Reddit is that type of player's home. Well, people need a place to vent. And the unfortunate thing is that Reddit ends up being that for a lot of games. It's like whatever problems the game has, there ends up being this secondary phenomenon that reacts to the state of the game and becomes a problem in and of itself. So even if the game turned around and got good for the next like 2 years and addressed these people's problems, they would still be in a cycle of complaining and resentment because it has a life all its own at this point. One of the games I play is Guild Wars 2. And for a long time, there was this weird subculture of people who played the game, and they would exchange this code word. The code word is furnace taken, which is an anagram for fuck ArenaNet, which is the company who makes Guild Wars. I'm not even kidding. And they thought that they couldn't just say it. Like they had such an identity. The idea of fuck the developer was such an important part of these people's identity. They made a code word and a little sub-society for it. Like, people who play these games, a lot of them are so fucking unhappy. And it saddens me. It saddens me because I know it's possible to play these games and not be so unhappy that you infect the world with your anger. I know it's possible. All right, let's look at some of these comments. Is anyone else really sick of reading about Outfit Wars drama? I hope you guys aren't. From Joby1 UK. Where the fuck you from says, but it's the best part. All right. So this guy I've tagged with good takes because I've read a few of his posts and they've been pretty high quality thoughts. Let's see what this guy has to say. Indiscriminate jest. For me, it's not so much that I'm sick of the Outfit Wars drama itself. It's more sick of hearing only Outfit Wars drama and absolutely nothing else. The third chapter of the campaign with his rebuild Esamir has been delayed twice. If the development team continues to have to divert working time to extinguishing Outfit Wars fires, it may be delayed even further or released in a rushed, poor quality state. Many people dislike playing on the current version of Esamir for a variety of reasons, and the longer the content remains unenjoyable, the worse the Esamir issues will get. True. The development of Outfit Wars is also coming at the expense of other features, changes, and fixes that the game could really use. I suppose, like in a zero-sum kind of way of thinking, that's true. One of the things I've learned about software development is nothing ever is really zero-sum. It's almost always possible to bring in more effort or reduce effort overall. And just because one thing is getting made doesn't mean if it wasn't getting made, something else would be getting created. But promised features like the NS overhaul and improvements to the new player experience will not be worked on so long as developers have to spend their time and efforts policing Outfit Wars. I'm assuming that the NS overhaul work is getting done anyway. I think that the majority of the work on Outfit Wars has already been done. Furthermore, nothing in Outfit Wars is explicitly revenue generating. There are no new items to sell or features to subscribe for. If the servers are to be maintained and the development team's salaries paid for, this content must make money through some other method. Look at this guy, shilling for RPG. He wants the devs to make some money. God bless him. I sent the devs some money the other day. I bought the anniversary bundle. Feeling pretty good about it. Feeling like a good, responsible member of the community. Using those pew 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 endeavor weapons. Feels great. Now, to be fair, Outfit Wars has brought back many old players who had set the game down, but it hasn't given them any new content to buy into. They may decide to buy older content if there's anything like that they haven't already bought that isn't a guarantee. There's the Colossus bundle, right? Aren't there also escalation-based bundles that came out? I can't remember. Outfit Wars is also a seasonal thing. People who have returned for Outfit Wars may leave when the season ends, for one reason or another. Perhaps they'll find the drama too stressful. Perhaps they won't trust the developers properly fix the myriad of issues or season has tried. Or perhaps they're just bored of the main Planetside game. That being said, the more drama the season generates, the worse the experience will feel. Players feel less inclined to return for the next season, less inclined to... So yeah, he's talking about the knock-on effects of like if you cry wolf with content, then eventually people will ignore your cries if they're disappointed by the content when they get there. It's fair. It's fair. Which brings me back to my first point of being sick of not hearing about anything else. If all the news headlines and subreddit posts are nothing but the happenings of Outfit Wars, other aspects of Planetside 2 may be shoved aside as a consequence. And there are many aspects of the game that need work done. The more time the developers spend working on Outfit Wars, the less time they have for all those other aspects. Well, but yeah, okay, repeating the zero-sum thing. Yeah, okay. This is worth mentioning just because it's like, hey, like Planetside ain't just Outfit Wars. I think this is one of the interesting phenomena that's kind of occurring is the Outfit Wars has been such a big and effective Rorschach for people to like project their likes or dislike for the game onto, that is just dominating the conversation. I mean, honestly, if you're just talking about things like NS Overhaul, I would not be putting the time into these streams. So I am. As Outfit Wars really is an incredibly good, high-quality flashpoint for discussion about these issues and the surfacing of these player problems, like, you know, the resentful, salty vet. Personally, I'm still in Shattered Warp Gate bitching modes as the random matrix. Remember how Rel thought cryonades were a good experiment, even though all the things that comprised it had been tried before and the community hated them? Remember how there's still a portion of Esamir functionally unused at this point? Remember how most of the new bases didn't fix any of the problems of Esamir or learn any at all about the new base design? Should work despite 8 years and hundreds of base designs to learn from. How you got Subterranean Nanite Analysis 2.0. How the fuck did not get through? Remember the storm that was introduced to screw large fights over in a game about large fights? Is it a game about large fights? Yeah. So, like, all the little things that were promised, what happened to these things? Like, legit. This goes back to, like, the feeling that I professed on a stream last week, where Planetside just feels kind of like it feels like a 150-person game being maintained by 30 people in some ways. Like, the work that seemed to go into to get these features made to a level of fidelity that matches what was put out in 2012 and what has kind of been rolling since then, it seems too high. Hey, I know this guy. There's a big chunk down the bottom too. Yeah. All right. Let's throw some upvotes, the ones we read. I think there's actually a little bit more to look at here. Apollo says the Hydra player is really bringing the salt today. Squiggle says that that's not a Hydra player. That's the H Discord's been pogging all day. The way the whole situation was handled has been a complete meme. Outfits that didn't want to play were asking for ways to leave the outfit pool during qualifiers and were told no. As soon as you start showing up and upset some delicate snowflakes, you see throwaway alts getting butthurt on Reddit and tagging Rel a bunch to heal their injured pedals. The whole circus has been a pleasure to watch. Resentment turned to humor. And then again, this phenomenon. Says you haven't tagged me the best player in Planetside. I can fix that. You have to defeat me in-game first. 5 times. I'm creating a bounty on myself. If you defeat me 5 times, you're the best player in Planetside, which means there are a lot of best players in Planetside. Okay. Apollo, pretty clear how they handled it. So Apollo was pretty not happy with Hydra. The standard wasn't made clear when Pigs and R18 did it. They didn't do the next round after the code of conduct note, and the 3 outfits that got banned were dumb enough to blatantly double team after being told what they would happen to them. I don't see any problem. All I see are a bunch of idiots whining on Reddit. Hydra got kicked, I guess, for stacking ringers to a huge degree, not double teaming, but it appeared like intentionally trying to knock out another outfit in a 1v1, even if not intended by the leadership. Napoleon Derdika? I don't know how to say that name. Lonesome Brick. Let's go with that. Hydra absolutely did not double team. If they got banned for double teaming, this is a fucking disgrace. If they got banned for alt accounts ringing for them, that's kind of understandable but questionable. If they straight up did not double team whatsoever, not with collusion nor without, just straight up no double teaming. If anything, they got double teamed. Since by warp gating boys, they forced both other factions to fight them. I think that the whole double teaming thing in that match is not a very interesting line of inquiry. The alts thing I think is more reasonable. Trying to defeat raid boss Deeg. I'm like Magmadar Molten Core. I'm the first one to die in a fight. Every outfit in this competition has ringers and alts, because it's impossible for 90% of the outfits to field 48 people every week. That is, and I think, an uncomfortable truth for this format. The thing distinguishing Hydra is like 1/3 to 40% of them being ringers on alt accounts, which circumvents the rule of no ringers on the same server. This seems like wisdom, which again, questionable, but kind of understandable. I don't think too many outfits have that type of ringers, as in such great big numbers. Halo Spud says, just been going through the match. Hey, this person's having a Reddit birthday. Just been going through the match roster, going to check this. Most of the guys we had that play for Bling, their main characters are in Hydra. They joined Bling for Outfit Wars because we weren't planning on participating and didn't think that we could field a team. There were 10-ish of those. I'm not certain on a couple of them. The only Bling main that joined us for a game was Paf, who played 1 match only. We had some old members and Outfit's friends join for games on characters that look like alts too, but they aren't Blinglings, so that's fine. What to believe? There were 10 of those. Sounded like it was a bit more than what Gretchen was talking about, but I don't know. If they only look like alts, that are obviously fine. If they are alts, that's still against the rules, but probably not what triggered the dev response. Again, I don't think mere alt playing is enough for Rel or the team to want to bother with dealing with this garbage. Creating an alt to circumvent rules specifically in place to prevent people playing for multiple outfits is obviously against the rules. Nobody should be surprised by that. You can be surprised by this being enforced, but it is a thing that is obviously against the rules. People being H members that join Bling, or the other way around, or whatever is also relevant for that. Although the majority of these alt account ringers come from the same outfit, most likely makes the offense worse. Not a good point. I don't think Hydra should have faced the consequences for that at all. Those were largely individual actions. So if anything, those individuals should face the consequences. Because it's an alpha, who cares? Even punching individuals would be harsh. Agreed. Like with many things, both volume, frequency of the incidents, and publicity matter to how the devs react. Both were high in this case. Maybe not 40% of the roster, but a quarter of the roster is still a lot. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with this rule. That this rule is a thing, although the intent is sensible. I don't actually necessarily agree that the Hydra as a whole, or even the players being punished for it. But if there is the actual reason for Hydra being disqualified, then the fact that there was consequences at the very least shouldn't come as a total surprise. This is a very, very reasonable perspective. Not near enough points. Halo Spud. Pretty much agree with all that. I don't like to say that if anyone should be punished, it should be the players because they're my players and friends, but it makes a hell of a lot more sense. What I want is clarity on why it happened and a public statement that it wasn't for match fixing, because I really don't like that implication. I get that. I think that might also help to extricate the real situation from the exaggerations and lies that people who just hate our outfit randomly throw into the mix. Yeah, okay. Legit. No, I don't expect them to now. Rel isn't going to wade into the Reddit shitstorm because there's no way out of it again, which isn't negative. Yep. Actually, last week I was wondering whether it would even be worthwhile for Rel and RPG to enforce any of their rules based on the shitstorm it was going to create. It does somewhat undermine the function of this as a deterrent that no one actually knows what they were disqualified for. True. Good point. It gives the impression that Rel just does whatever he wants and doesn't feel the need to explain to anyone there's no way to run a tournament. It does give that impression. It really does. It's no way to run anything. Look at this reasonable discussion coming out of the Reddit comments. Is this legal? Oh man, I'm getting a warm, fuzzy feeling reading this. Napoleon der Dika. Tell me how to pronounce your name if you see this video, please. By no means do I want those players to be punished. It's the right thing to do if you're going to punish anyone at all. Doesn't really excuse not giving a reason in the first place. That's really shitty. Also, do you have any idea if you're actually being disqualified or if it's just your points being set to 0? All good points. So the spirit of preventing ringers is a good one. The practicality of preventing ringers is a bit iffy. The justice that's administered from behind closed doors is not as effective as justice that's administered in public. It was weird to see that there were 3 outfits that were disqualified, but no announcement of who those outfits were or what the reasons were. The thinking that I can come up with on that is that Rel wanted to make the point that we are enforcing the rules, but was not super excited about calling anyone out specifically. Thing is, the community figures out who was disqualified, and the conversation runs itself from there. So, all right, so this is the OP comparing what Hydra did to what R18 and Pigs did. This might be useful. Hydra fought through the only other force with any pop. They had less pop than boys and won. They didn't collude with the third side to win. What R18 and Pigs did was the most blatant and egregious collusion double teaming. How on earth can you just say, yeah, they didn't know they could do that? It's a failure of the dev team not having any forethought. I don't know. There are a few things in there I got to think about. I don't know how you properly test something like this without doing it the way it's being done with live characters and real outfits. And the fact that it's being done with live characters and real outfits suggests that it's not really an alpha. It's part of the main game. And if you're gonna make it part of the main game, that implies like a burden of communication and expectation setting, a level of polish. You don't put guns into the game and say they're alpha versions of the guns, right? Like RPG would never do that. They don't put alpha versions of the Bastion in the game. They don't put alpha versions of the Colossus into the game. Calling it alpha is a very simple, cheap way to hedge their investment in it. I think we can see that it was not 100% effective in mitigating the damage from that. We're back talking about the resolution of the unspoken code of conduct last week as it affects Hydra, BMLx, and RWCN. We've been talking about Hydra for the last hour or so and that situation. It's pretty interesting. It seems like there is a question about, we don't know exactly why they were banned. We hope it's not for supposedly colluding in their game where they only had really one faction to fight against, where they warp gated, and we hope it's got something to do with the alts. It would be really useful to get a signal from RPG about what their disqualifications were specifically handed out for, rather than this vague statement about match fixing. I don't know. But maybe the cost of doing that is to inspire more offense. Okay. I was watching a great cast by Planetside Battles last night. Connery match between R18, DPSO, and Fool. It was a great match, a fantastic cast. I called it out on Twitter. I love the coverage Planetside Battles is doing. I think the Planetside Battles right now has the best coverage in Outfit Wars of anything that's going on in the creator community at the moment. They have the best overlays. They have the best commentary. It's all just high quality. Love it. I caught a snippet of the interview, the post-match interview. And this is from the perspective of Slatter from DPSO. I wanted to play because I think it's kind of speaks to the general sentiment of what players playing the format are experiencing. There we go.
Hello. Slatter, what is your take on what happened in the match?
I mean...
So DPSO lost. I'm pretty sure that Fool won this game. I can't remember who won between R18 and DPSO. Let's actually find that out. It'll be useful context. So we need to rewind to the end of the match. R18 won or lost? Okay. So it was, at least here at the end.
Following the... This is what we're...
So Fool over R18 over DPSO. Yep. So this is the last place perspective.
In the distance.
All right.
Very cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
All right, we have Tiny Baby Max main Slatter 1 in the house.
Hello.
Slatter, what is your take on what happened in the match?
I mean... Fool's pretty good. And R18 was playing for second, which, with how good Fool is the right call, I think. Although it does kind of suck when people don't go for the win.
Were you guys trying to go for the win?
We were, although at about, I want to say when Fool was at about like 550, then we were like, okay, well, they're not going to get touched. And we got R18 on our gate. And R18 isn't going to leave our gate. So we're just going to have to try to go for point denial as hard as possible.
Yeah, when it hit that point, we also kind of noticed like, oh, it's just those two people kind of slugging it out for second.
This louder voice is the Fool guy, I think.
Yeah, like we went into this like fully expecting to, play to win, like we did with Rally last time. But, it sadly just doesn't work out that way sometimes.
We went in with the mentality of playing to win, but it sadly doesn't work out that way sometimes. So at some point during the match, DPSO and Renegade 18 realized they weren't going to win. They weren't going to beat Fool. And so the thing that made the next most sense for them, because coming in second place over third does matter in the way the placements currently work, the thing that made the most sense was to play for second. So what do? They make sure that the DPSO doesn't get any points. And he says it's unfortunate and people don't play to win. This is like an example of totally reasonable 3-team tactics that still leads to a disappointing feeling outcome for one of the teams. And perhaps, I'm not sure if this degraded the overall experience of people who were watching it. But we've seen our A-Team be a part of Out and Out Collusion, and here they're a part of just gaming the system. It makes me wonder if we need to be thinking about only giving the first place team from Outfit Wars any points. Winner take all, you know? If we did that, then would we see a reduction in these teams playing for second? Seems like it'd be an easy tweak, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that's it for this interview.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were watching the RWCN match with TWC. Oh, actually, you were. I swear to God, there was a decent amount of DPSO fans that were watching it, and
Oh yeah.
you guys probably saw the fast castle meta that they did against TWC. Was that
Can anyone explain fast castle meta to me?
something that you guys were kind of thinking could potentially happen going into this match?
Yeah, we definitely knew they were going to be kamikazing construction Legos everywhere that they could.
Yeah.
So we were expecting.
What was that? Weird. Okay. Yeah, I guess my ISP had a hiccup there.
But they ended up actually
I
getting.
think we're done with this interview
the,
anyway.
Fast Castle strat on you guys at the mid game.
Thank you, Henry. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about strat. I just think it's interesting how this ended up being not how the double team kind of emerged a little bit. And there's a question of, in my mind, well, is that a bad thing? And how do you deal with it? Okay. I think that's all I have for Hydra today. But there's some interesting actual drama that's going on around the SolTech match. And I wanted to have a look at that. We've seen statements from both of the outfits who were impacted. Yeah, both BMLx and RWCN have posted their own defenses on Reddit. I want to have a look at these. I haven't looked at these in any kind of depth whatsoever. So hopefully they're summarized well enough. This is from Sky Zuzu from BMLx. Time to tell the truth. I'm a warrior of BMLx. The outfit was defined as teaming with RWCN and 2v1 against AMXE. I'll be responsible for what I'm talking about and all the consequences caused by this post. My character ID is Billy Sky Zuzu. All I'm going to say is based on my recording of this game, here's the link. You guys want to see the recording of the game while I'm reading this? I'll just read it. Y'all know what Planetside looks like, right? First of all, don't know English, so some in-game contents. Since I don't want to switch my game language to English, I'll assign several words. Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta means first, second, third, fourth squad in the platoon. Yep. Steel Rain. Okay. I think we're all on the same page. Alpha deals with VS, who is AMXE. Beta deals with TR, who is RWCN. Charlie is a floater squad. Delta is air. Makes sense. Oh boy, we're going to go through it step by step. In the beginning, we captured F first. So they're blue. Okay. So this is the Vanu home point on the blue side. We captured F first, then we used a Steel Rain to A to stop VS from attacking G, Gamma. So to protect the middle of the island. We sent a small number of people to capture G. Which one is G? This action is pretty decided because AMXE is strongest infantry. We must stop them to prevent F from being captured. Okay. The NTR tried to get Ibri from NC, who is them, as well as getting B from VS, Bane. They want to put other people on A. against NC. So here, TR took B. So they sacrificed B to keep A. So Vanu preferred fighting the NC for some reason. At this point, 3 squads of NC, most of VS were stuck in A. TR had B, so they didn't need to worry about the connection to H. Hosk. TR started to attack G. Gamma, right. TR moves in. And TR was RWCN. Although TR failed the invitation towards Ibri, they still had several people stay around it trying to find a chance to attack again. Okay, I see where the collusion, the appearance of collusion is starting to emerge. I'm not sure what this is showing. Someone explain the significance of this picture? At 1717 in my video, our general commander says, CC squad, go touch H, which wanted to give some pressure on the TR. So he's giving instructions to, Blue is giving instructions to go attack Hosk. So to put some pressure up here. You can see clearly that the Beta squad, so Beta, going back to the top, was the squad assigned to deal with TR. Okay. Beta squad kept attacking TR. So we can see a Sunderer placed at Ibri. And it looks like there might be some hotspots over at Hosk. And we see, it looks like a squad leader for Blue over here at Deimos. There's just more examples of Blue and Red fighting. After we failed on attacking A, so this northwest point here, Vanu rushed to F immediately. F is... I can't read the name of these points. I think it's this one right here. Pharos? I think it's Pharos. It sounds like a Planetside based name, right? After we failed the attack on Atma, AMXE rushed to Pharos immediately, wanting to cut the connection between Pharos and Gamma. But the plan of BMLx was to keep the pressure on Hosk to gain time for capturing Gamma. Okay. A is Akka. Is it? It looks like it says Atma here in this image. I believe you. I believe you. Maybe it's just a translation thing in the client, a localization thing. You've been there. Okay, Henry. Okay. Akka it is. You have some vacation photos to prove it? BMLx successfully took Gamma and Hosk. So it's taking territory away from RWCN. But TR and VS, RWCN and AMXE are attacking Hosk and Gamma at the same time. So here it looks like purple and red are teamed up against blue. Maybe they changed it since Etna and Atma sounds similar phonetically. Could be. Could be. In less than 1 minute, Vanu rushed to Pharos, this point here, still wanting to cut the connection between Pharos and Gamma. At this time, Hosk had already been taken by TR. And we can see our boy here in a Valkyrie headed to Pharos. This is kind of cool. It's like a war report. One squad went to attack Deimos. At the same time, in Deimos, which was held by RWCN, TR, at the same time, the rest of us were trying to capture Atma, or Akka. TR had Bane and Hosk under control. So they didn't need to worry about the connections between their points. They started attacking Gamma. TR successfully taken Gamma. They can fall back to defend Deimos, which was getting heat from the NC, supposedly. Near the end, at 35 minutes, 30 seconds, we can hear the CCTV, our general commander was saying, all of us go to the platoon mark except Alpha Squad. Platoon mark is at... Which is the platoon mark? It's Pharos? The mark is on H, so he wants to take H. Hosk. Cut TR's connection between Gamma and Hosk. Yeah, so swoop around behind. Makes sense. In the next step of the attack, NC used a steel rain to Gamma. So they put people to go to Hosk to cut off Gamma, and they steel rain to Gamma. At this time, TR had nearly captured Hosk. Alpha Team used another steel rain on Hosk and wanted to stop them. So they ping-ponged between Gamma and Hosk, which I guess is what let the Vanu move in on Gamma. Before the game ends, NC was stuck with VS on G, on Gamma. TR sneaky to Ibri and captured it. From the review, I can see no clue if TR and NC was 2v1. Instead, the fight between TR and NC was full of tactical deployments and tactics. I cannot understand which evidence was provided by AMXC to Rel and let him believe it was a 2v1. Besides, as a reply to their allegation in this YouTube video, they said when one of our Reaver pilots saw a mosquito, someone said it's our own guy. I called this out last week. Interesting. This is totally wrong. As the reply, I commented before the sentence that this Reaver pilot has asked, I heard the sound of Valkyrie. The sentence, it's our own guy, is from our Valkyrie pilot. They use this edited video as the evidence, killed the truth by keeping only the designated sentence, which is good to them. I cannot imagine what other kind of fake evidence they provided to Rel. Interesting. I mean, this is a fairly convincing looking argument. Okay. So one thing that's worth calling out is we're presupposing that AMXC complained to Rel. We don't know if that's what happened. I don't think we do. We don't know anything about how the complaints emerged or were identified or adjudicated. We know nothing. But this is a fairly convincing retort. Indiscriminate just, Mr. Good Takes. It seems to be seen by more people. If there's any merit to your argument here, then you and your outfit may very well have been punished unfairly. I'm team real collusion and simply focusing down the leader is vague enough as it is. If it's a choice between punishing the innocent or letting the guilty go free, I'd pick letting the guilty go free. But I don't get to make that choice. Kai says, AMXC submitted evidence to RPG apparently. Okay. The leader said they submitted something like 6 videos. Okay. So there was something. I mean, we don't know if that was the reason it happened, but, you know, correlation, causation. But it definitely, knowing that does suggest that you're probably right. There's weight in the decision. People jump into conclusions in the thread. Big surprise. Sky Zuzu, this is the OP, says, AMXC used that data as evidence. The point is AMXC's infantries are insanely strong compared to us. For example, we have put together like 30 people with the help of our Air Force is to have a tie on the battle against 24 people. That's why we have more VS kills on the data. But in their opinion, if we put more than 24 people against their 24 people, that's unfair and double teaming, which is ridiculous. The result of the rest of our people were fighting against TR all through the game. They just ignored that or saying that TR and NC pretended to fight each other. Wow. Oh man, this is juicy. So yeah, he's saying he's calling out the idea proposed by AMXE that the fact that BMLx devoted, let's say, 3 platoons to fight 2 platoons worth of AMXE indicates collusion. And it could just indicate a clear perception that there's a skill gap, and they need an extra half a guy for every one of AMXE's guys to win in an infantry fight. Where's the line? Oof, no, definitely not that. Don't want to see that. But I can see why someone who feels bad about being disqualified would say something like that. Okay, we have a response here from VT Gone. Is this the AMXE person? Above Reddit's video is not conclusive in protesting against DB conducted by AMXE. We posted an editing video to create public opinion on this. They the suspected 2-to-1 teaming evidence in the Outfit War is presented as follows. We sent this evidence directly from REL for the first time. After that, we sent it additionally through the Daybreak help desk. A bunch of videos. Yep, fine. DB fully reviewed almost all the recorded videos and logs with Outfit Wars for several days. Data did not lie. As a result, it was judged to be illegal. Unfortunately, they were less aware of the pre-announced code of conduct. Who was less aware? Who's he referring to here? Oh, I guess he's talking about the opponents who got disqualified. As a result, they were punished as an Outfit Wars expulsion. I respect your request for legitimate feedback from the teams that failed. If they have something unfair, I hope it will be solved well, and I hope that Outfit War will take place in a more competitive environment. Huh. No idea what's happening, but it sounds juicy. It is juicy, Repairman. So imagine if Team Fortress Classic was played with 3 teams at a time, 3 bases, and you were in a championship game, and one of the teams lost in a dubious fashion to promote another team, like losing on purpose to fix the match results. 2 teams colluding with each other. That's what we're adjudicating here. And there's an additional layer of this. This is from the SolTech server, which is populated by a large amount of Chinese and Korean players. I think there's some Australian players there too, right? On the SolTech server. Is this some Pete Rose shit? Kai, he means the Chinese outfits because the rules weren't posted in the game or translated. Right! So, this unspoken code of conduct, which laid the foundation for these disqualifications, was posted on RPG's website 12 days ago in only English. Can I go to a different language here? Is there a way to do that? I don't think that this content is localized in any way. Kai, yes, you. Aussie right here in the chat. RWCN and TCFB are the mostly Aussie outfits. Cool. It's kind of yeah, I think we're seeing some nationalistic rivalry happening between these particular outfits. It gets juicier too. But this thread is full of creamy goodness. Let's have a look at Sky Zuzu's retort. The data can lie. I mean, give you a wrong result compared to the real situation. The truth is, your outfit, AMXE's inventory is much stronger than the other 2 outfits. Reiterating his argument from earlier, We need like 30 people to attack your 24. We always need to put more people than yours to ensure we can win the fight. Luckily, our Air Force did a great job of helping our infantry. If you can understand what I'm saying here, you should know that that is normal. That the data, especially the kill death log, has more kills against Vandu because we need more people to stop your attack. The rest of our warriors, I love calling them warriors. It feels so like feudal, doesn't it? Like FEUDAL, feudal. Which has less amount, like one squad or something. We're fighting against TR, and TR is having the same situation here. The look of your villain is really disgusting. Google Translate. This is great. I'm not sure if there's any other value in this. Let's have a quick scroll through. This VT Gone guy is a real businessman, sounds like. God Pink Cat, hi. I'd strongly advise non-SolTech players and other SolTech players without any deeper access to concrete knowledge and evidence from direct sources, like the SolTech community Discord, to avoid jumping to uneducated conclusions based off biased and inconclusive screenshot evidence and testimonials. Unless you're privy to the comprehensive report that DBG has access to, or can speak to people actually directly involved in the match whom are double-teamed, and have the first-hand knowledge and evidence such as from the forums which are not in English to provide that you will only be influenced by this incomprehensive account of affairs. Thank you for reading. This message maybe will be repeated if necessary. Yep, I'm one of these people. I'm being influenced. But we got to hear the AMXC argument last week. We just heard the BMLx argument, and we're about to hear the RWCN argument. So we're going to hear arguments from all three sides. And we have someone from SolTech here in the chat. He's going to help us vet all this. This guy's an AMXC member. It seems to be the... okay, so... Kai, what are the nationalities of these three outfits? How does it break down? Can you help me put a picture together? RWCN, I'm guessing, is Chinese. But what about BMLx and AMXC? I need to upvote all these posts I'm reading. Be a good internet citizen. Thank you for your notice. First of all, the screenshots are taken from my own recording as one of the competitors in this game in SolTech. I can promise you there's no fake stuff in it. I'm just telling the situation while the game is running. DBG never contacted any member in BMLx. There is important information I should let you know. Discord is banned in China. This means Chinese players cannot access Discord. Private VPNs without the permission of the government is also banned and considered illegal. Same as Reddit and Twitter. Brings a question. Since Chinese players cannot access these websites, how can we get contacted and having the evidence from these English forums? Remember, nobody from DBG has contacted us, and neither the band nor after that. So many interesting dimensions. Okay, and this person is just saying only the evidence matters. BMLx are Chinese, RWCN are Chinese. AMXC were originally Korean, then started recruiting non-Korean members from SEA and Oceania. And finally, they merged with some Chinese air and infantry outfits to create AMXC. So AMXC is a little bit more multinational. XE comes from EXE, Aimbot EXE, a Chinese infantry outfit. Okay. AM's usual tag on live outside of Outfit Wars is AM06, the VS branch. Got it. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a coalition, it looks like. Oh, here's an explanation of that, exactly what you just said. AMXC equals AM06 plus EXE plus other outfits. Leader of EXE named Raphael has been banned because of cheating. Then he created a new account that was banned again for other reasons. Then Raphael created his third account. Still cheating, we all know, but DB still did nothing. And AM06 is a Korean outfit, which is known by a huge number of cheaters in it. And Daybreak never banned the cheaters in AM06. In the next round, AM06 killed Daybreak's OB many times. BT Gon said they are training here, which normal human can train there with those weapons. Then Archie have to go to another outfit war. Then AMXC begin cheating. Daybreak did nothing with the cheaters in AMO6 always. This is an angry gamer trying desperately to communicate in language he doesn't understand. I sympathize. Raph was banned for stat padding. All right. Interesting. Okay. Let's look at the RWCN statement. Hopefully it's as high quality as this was. Okay. This is by How. Official announcement. Daybreak officially judged that we in the Blue Moonlight Corps, is that what the name means? I like that. Blue Moonlight. Have maliciously and jointly suppressed AMXC in the RWCN versus BM, so much word salad, in the game, and therefore disqualified us from participating in the Blue Moonlight Corps. Regarding this incident, we made the following statement. First of all, we solemnly declare, we have not communicated with the Blue Moonlight Legion in the game or in private. We have followed the competitive spirit and official rules of the game. Because Daybreak did not observe the entire history of the war, but only listened to what AMXC said, we don't think this is fair. In judging something, the court must listen to the statements and materials of the plaintiff and the defendant at the same time before making a judgment, and combine it with strong evidence, in fact, to cause a reasonable penalty. The Daybreak official only unilaterally obeyed AMXC's one-sided words, and there's no strong evidence in fact. We were not contacted and no one listened to our thoughts and thus made a rash judgment. This is obviously unfair and reckless. As a result, our Red Wing Corps expressed strong protest. Once again, for this malicious speculation and report against the facts against our Red Wings, we will provide evidence that matches the facts and make recommendations accordingly, and hope that the official can make a true, fair ruling. Finally, our Red Wing Legion encourages every player who loves Planetside 2 not to insult normal players involved in the TK incident, not to use plugins, bugs, etc. for players of specific nationalities or legions. Together, to maintain a good Asian server, the relative, and environment. Our Legion was established on October 20th, 2018. Although we are a new Legion, we have quickly developed into the backbone of the Earth Republic, race out of passion, and create a good game environment for Asia's server. Red Wings, March 12th, 2021. I'm calling TR Earth Republic from now on. To repeat, as a member of the RWCN Corps, I would like to state, we do not have any offline contact with the NC Corps, nor do we have any joint activities. First, the failure of AMXC was purely due to their own shortcomings. Although they were proficient in frontline combat, they did not have any meaningful logistics personnel. Almost all of them fought in the combat zone without any tactical or strategic skills. It was completely due to their own problems, had nothing to do with the other two corps. 2. If we have any contact with the Blue Crescent, there will be no combat in our area of engagement. Due to the stronghold link mechanism on Planetside 2, the Blue Moon Legion is out of attack the flank mind, attack our strongholds, and successfully disconnect our strongholds. But in fact, there was still a firefight, even on the same battlefields that attacked AMXC. There's no possibility of joint operation. So there was fighting between blue and red, is what he's saying. I love this rhetoric. It's so good. I feel it in my bones, man. Number 3. We did not have any way of reading Code of Conduct post. We did not know of these rules. Yeah. I don't know why I got so excited about that. 4. Faction targeting is a common occurrence in combat, even on Olathe. Whichever side is the strongest will be more vulnerable to attack by the other two factions. And this is the intention of the 3 factions on the edge of the planet. Looking back at the performance of AMXC in the previous games, it has to be said that the fighting ability of the members cannot be ignored. So it is natural that the other 2 factions will be highly concerned. When we started the race, it was perfectly normal to have prioritized the AMXC fight before the fight to our advantage, and there was nothing improper about it. Not surprisingly, the Blue Crescent adopted a strategy similar to ours. Number 5. You don't know what was behind the official blind eye to the apparent alliance, but the suspension of our normal strategy. Battle of the Western United States server. NC and VS break together. All of the Army battle audience see in the eye. One might justify said didn't see each other, but in fact we all know this is very obvious. Camp joint behavior is the real reason a fair and competitive game of irrational behavior is the true of competitive spirit of blasphemy. I don't know if this is an official sense of fairness, as your studio turns a blind eye to this behavior and plays an unfair game against real competitors because some lambs are afraid to face defeat. If such a move is considered correct, then the support of all Chinese players for your studio will be greatly compromised. China has said that winning or losing is a norm in combat. We all stand for fair play. But the some player get from other cowardly actions is laughingstock for all Planetside players. Such a team that recoils from defeat is not worth fighting in this game. Therefore, to sum up, our core and BML core have not committed any violations of Legion Wars. We hope that your studio can take this issue seriously and restore our legal status immediately. It's just a game. The spirit of competition should still be respected. Ooh. I gotta process that for a minute. Henry Kai says people were actually tweeting Rel with recommendations to read this kind of stuff. They do make some strong arguments. It does seem like there's enough room for ambiguity. But again, all I'm doing is reading the rhetoric, which is fantastic. So good. BT Gown post in here too. Looks like he just reposted what he wrote in the BMLx thread. Oh, Sirius commented. When I saw the video from AMXC, I never saw a clip that showed blatant collusion, like infantry mixing with infantry on a base that have no business being at. So this is like what happened in the Space Pigs R18 collusion against Recursion. Most of the clips I saw were of air combat where NC did not engage TR after they killed Vanu. But that's a much different scenario. There are a lot of reasons air would finish off a weak Vanu fighter, see a TR fighter, and decide not to goad him into combat. Could be air-to-ground loadout not really being ready for battle. TR ESF has more friendlies behind him, so trying not to draw a fight, etc. While there was definitely double teaming, the strategy seemed to be more TR and NC double team Vanu and see who could race for victory faster. It did not seem premeditated like Connery's was. It's not an uncommon strategy on live as well as Desolation to try to blitz the losing faction and take more of their territory before the other winning faction can, rather than try to face whatever faction actually has the most points or territory. There definitely needs to be more incentive to attack the winning faction, i.e. experience bonuses should not be associated with the faction population. It's a meaningless number. Experience bonuses should be associated with killing members of the leading faction or fighting as a member of the losing faction. Anyway, seems like additional fuel for the 1v1 format camp. P.S. People did say there's evidence of premeditated collusion on forums, etc. beforehand. Maybe this whole write-up is this lip service. I haven't seen that part, but double teaming to hold off a good team is different than premeditated collusion. If just the former, I don't see why they broke any rules. This calls back to a video that Sirius did last week, I think. No, it was the previous week because I covered it on my show last week about the difference between out-and-out collusion and just double teaming, which is a natural part of three-sided combat. Kai, the question is whether there was collusion on Chinese forums or via comms, not whether the double teaming broke any rules. Yeah. So I suppose, like, even if we didn't see double teaming in the match, if there's evidence of coordination ahead of the match, maybe that's all it's needed. It is a slippery feeling slope, though, isn't it? I'm going to say that this thread has very high values as a potential copy pasta in the future. I really enjoyed reading this. Okay. All right. Back in the frame of mind. What's next? Oh, yeah. So this is new. This is from today. We're starting to see Planetside get review bombed on Steam, perhaps? Recent reviews mixed. Let's see what the screenshot shows. Game is well done by that SOE, and Daybreak is a racialism company. Even FISU PW can detect hacker immediately by unusual data, and Daybreak do nothing. They don't know how to maintain this game studio. H1Z1 and others, fair. SBDB discrimination humiliating to China. Daybreak is a racist company. Daybreak is a racist company. Funny mudpee. Huh. From very positive to mixed. Coordinated review bombing. Review bombing doesn't have to be coordinated. SolTech outfit wars. Look at all these deleted posts. What's going on there? Yeah, this does happen often on Steam. I know it does. Two things that factor in here are possibly related to a controversial forced name change in relation to Hong Kong. And secondly, the lack of action on more widespread use of cheats on the SolTech server. I had to look at this morning, and there were like 5 of these reviews, nothing else. I think it happened to PUBG when they implemented region locking. Game was mostly positive for a while after Shadow Warp Geek update. Yeah, that's what I remember too, Moon. Most of the negative reviews are from Western players, nothing to do with SolTech. Yeah, maybe it's just a correlation. Okay. I don't know. I thought there was maybe more to this. Can we sort these by negative? Playing on Asia server, awesome game, but hackers are making the game one-sided, making you sometimes want to know play the game. Imagine spawning and getting headshot while in the safe zone. These people exist. On balanced side of different fractions, there's no mechanics to control the amount of players in each faction. You can end up with 80 versus 10 versus 10%. Which leads to more people joining the 80% just to win. Okay. I'm looking for just SolTech stuff here. I only saw the one. Yeah, well, the reviews got, I think, overinflated in the positive direction when Escalation came out. We knew that they couldn't stay that high, right? At least I remember thinking that thing. Yeah, the community bound it with positive reviews to make a trend. Yep. Yeah, that all matches my recollection. Okay. Is the situation on SolTech really this bad, Kai? The take about the faction imbalance and the cheating? Would you resonate with that? Ugh, the lighting changed in here somehow. The cheating is pretty bad. You're saying that since the reviews have been overwhelmingly negative enough to bomb it from 94% positive. Apparently. Apparently it's gone from 94 to 67%. This is a 30-day trailing number though. So it's gonna ignore anything older than a month. This is all reviews. It's still 82% for all reviews. Turn off the your language to see other reviews. Oh. Yeah, okay. Yep, you're right. A lot of negativity here. Should we run this through a translator and see if it comes up with anything? This one's long. Let's do this one. Oh, my eyes. Ugh. This reads a little bit like that post from RWCN we saw. Some people pay the price of money, character, and even dignity just for the trivial satisfaction in their hearts. But there are also people who really know how to respect the developer of the game, the sketcher of Ninth Art, and the other players who are like themselves. The game itself is good, but it is a pity that Daybreak's approach is not flattering. Such an approach cannot be regarded as worthy of the players who respect it. Racial discrimination, jump to conclusions, and indulge in plugins are totally unfair. All right. Speaking of indulgence, I think while my stream went down from it earlier, I looked in the Planetside 2 listing on Steam and saw that Commander Sirius was talking about the SolTech game. So we'll have to be sure to check that out afterwards. I'm sure he's saying some interesting stuff. Let's see what else I have here. SolTech cheat compilation the community made. I guess we can stay on topic for a second. Have a look at that. 10 minutes. I don't know if we'll watch all this. Also, I'm probably going to have to watch it muted. Sorry, guys. Don't want to get DMCA'd. The old AU server was turned off because of hackers. Guy looks fast. Look at that hero. Oh my god. Yeah, whenever I hear about cheating happening on Asian servers, especially ones with Chinese players, I think about some of the reports I've heard about Chinese gamer culture. And about how there's this idea that if you can win by cheating, then it's okay. And like cheating and getting away with it is basically has the same level of honor as winning without cheats. You gotta feel bad for the genuine players in the whole region. Amen, man. Yeah, this is a problem with a free-to-play game. As I remember in Planetside 1, you never, ever, ever saw cheaters until the game went free-to-play late in its life. Of course, I don't know if a game like Planetside 2 could even work if it was only played by subscribers. Are y'all subscribers to Planetside? I wonder what the game would look like if only people who subscribe were able to play. Those people in the rock? Super rarely you did, yeah. Yeah, Van, that meets my memory too. Guys, mostly just 2 to 3 blatant cheaters on at any one time. The problem is they take way too long to ban. You can report them at 8 p.m. and they're banned at 2 a.m. when customer service wakes up in the US. Yeah. Yeah, and even just a handful of hackers that are let loose in the server for multiple hours can ruin the fight for hundreds of others, right? It doesn't take a lot. So you still have your membership going, yeah. I've been subscribed to Planetside since resubscribed since like 2019. I only took a couple breaks when I was playing World of Warcraft because I couldn't justify having two $15 a month subs at the same time. Okay, I mean, we get it, right? You've been to bases where we could take back the point with multiple squads versus one cheater under the ground. You've been mostly subbed on Sony DBG since 2002. At the time, Daybreak was moving on to PSA, and you ended up canceling your sub. Yeah. Yeah, man. So Planetside Arena is one of those topics I need to find a proper discussion avenue for before it gets too cold. I think I'm going to try to get Cardo on the podcast to see if he'll talk to me about it a little bit. Oh, that was kind of his baby. Learned a bit of context from Alan Lapidus when I talked to him earlier in the year. It really seems like Cardo was the guy for Arena the same way that Rel is the guy for Planetside too. And we saw him leave the studio shortly after PSA tanked, so that kind of lines up. I canceled until they properly address the cheating issue on SolTech. Feels wrong to pay for the game at the moment. Fair? Planetside Mercenaries. Yeah, the thing with Arena seems to be that there was a top-down directive to make the first mode that they premiered be the Battle Royale. And they tried to bring it out at the same time Apex Legends came out, which was just... It made Planetside Arena look stupid as a Battle Royale game. Just too damn bad. If Arena had the modes besides Battle Royale and membership connected, I think it would have been okay. Yeah. Apex was dropped on them. No one knew shit about Apex. Apex coming out the way it did, the state it did was pretty awesome. Right. We had a discussion on the stream last week when I was just bumming around shooting mans that like the vision of Arena that I thought could have been interesting is if it tied in directly to Planetside 2 via the Sanctuary or something. And there was a terminal, and one terminal would queue you up for Planetside Arena fights, and another one would bring you down to Araxis. Like have it be different planets or something, and have your characters be able to go between the two. You get separate progressions for your same characters in Arena versus Planetside 2, but shared cosmetics. Like there's so much, like that would have been such a cool elaboration on the Planetside formula, and it would have been a better. Planetside Arena had all the tech to do something like Outfit Wars well, right? I think it did. I feel like it did. Moon's thinking the same thing. They'd have to build Arena around Planetide's old engine, though. I mean, there's gotta be a way to work around that, right? There's gotta be a way to work around that. I just think calling it Planetside, using the Planetside IP, having it be a shooter with big modes, it felt bad as a Planetside player who liked Planetside. It's like this game is trying to eat the lunch of a game that I love that has been underserved for years. And why are you making this Planetside instead of improving the Planetside that I already play and am invested in? Like it feels like they're taking the money the Planetside players put into the game and creating a new Planetside to kill the Planetside that built it. It's like the son, killing the father and sleeping with the mother, like some Oedipal shit. It's fucked up. Look at those Zoomy boys. Moon, you asked Cardo around the time if they can port stuff from PSA to PS2 and told me it would need to go through stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have different pipelines. I mean, obviously PSA was a higher fidelity, you know, across the board. We didn't see Planetside Arena assets go straight into Planetside 2. There was obviously some time that needed to bring skins over and bring them through whatever pipeline Planetside 2 needs. Man, Planetside is such a good fucking game. Makes me want to jump in and play. Okay. I think we get the idea with these cheats. Thanks for sharing the link, Kai. I think I only have actually one more thread of content to review. Let's see if it has... Let's just refresh my mind on what it is. Okay. Yeah, we can review this. We can review this. And then we'll find a way to bring this week's discussion to a close, I think. Someone in your outfit got a great clip of two speed cheaters dueling once. It was so epic, like Jedi versus Sith. I'd love to see that. Van, I can't believe we're as far from PS2 launch now as we were from Planetside 1 and Planetside 2 was being teased. Fuck. Is that true? When was Planetside 2 getting teased? Like 2009, 2010? Planetside 2 announced. Hey, it's called Planetside Next at the start, right? Planetside Next announced. Every single time you search for stuff like this, it goes back to that post that the Andy Sites made at the start of 2020 being like, you want to make Planetside 3. Invoking Planetside 3. 2010, 2011, and Planetside 1 came out in 2004? Three, 2003. Yeah. Adds up. 100%. Fuck, I'm old. I still remember my first Planet Man memory of the Planetside 1 beta in the spring of 2003. I remember playing a Rexo Heavy Assault, which I thought was badass. Because I had the infantry gun, I had my Lasher, and I had the anti-vehicle gun, the Lancer. And in Planetside 1, what was cool is that the weapons actually showed on your back. As opposed to just being stored in your anus like they are in Planetside 2. And I remember I instant actioned and spawned at a tower on Amarish. Somewhere I think in the north central part of the zone, if I remember right. And it was a tower where when you come out the north door from the tower, there's a hill right in front of you. And I remember coming out and seeing gunfire go over the hill, and a bunch of infantry scrambling up and down. And I walked my way up the hill and I saw like tanks, planes flying overhead, and I was like, oh my God. This is gaming, bro. This is fucking gaming, bro. I was so hooked at that time by the combination of shooter and MMO. Because I was just getting turned on to like RPGs at the time. And I had been playing Team Fortress Classic, which is a team-based shooter for years at that point. So combining those things was so intoxicating to me. You even tolerate the terrible, terrible gunplay of Planetside 1 to just get that scratch itched. Although I guess at the time it wasn't as terrible. It's just one of the worst aged parts of the game. Maybe I'll load up an emulator for Planetside 1 one of these days and try to relive that memory. Try to find that hill. I bet you I can find it. Okay. Last thread of the night. This is posted by Jimba Jamba. RPG, time to talk. The community is at fever pitch. We're all pretty pissed off, I think, and we want some answers. What the hell is going on? Outfit Wars is a disaster. The recent changes are a disaster. People are leaving in droves. The game feels empty. And we're hearing nothing from you. You okay, bro? Are you deliberately sabotaging and winding this game down? or you're so hopelessly up your own arses that you can't see the damage you're doing. I am passionate about this because I'm passionate about this game. But somewhere along the line, I feel like the spark for you has gone. Is the community becoming aware? I mean, this person is generalizing their own feeling onto people around them. Projecting. We all do it. But, you know, don't blame them for wanting to hear from RPG. I don't blame them. The population change has me scratching my head. Has there been a population change in Planetside? What's the best place to measure this? FISU, right? FISU world population. Thank you, Kai. I think Google helped me get there too. Let's use your link. Let's have a look. So here's a swell for escalation. We hit that really great peak. And things crash down to normal-ish, but still higher. So this is a question I had last year. I did a discussion with my buddy Rugcutter about talking about whether Planetside escalation will succeed. And in that discussion, one of the things I talked about is saying that almost every single big update to Planetside has failed to permanently move the needle on player population. What's the lowest low? 1983. Hey, it's the year I was born. In the month I was born. What? Freaky. And the last time we were that low was October 2019. You feel like it's almost been radio silence on actual gameplay since Andy left. Yeah. I think that is a valid correlation to draw, man. I've had that thought too. Honestly, they need to add more content between big updates to keep people playing with something new. It's been a bit on Twitter, but not too much else. Yeah, we've seen some teases from the artists, right, about the new construction site. I'm hyped about the construction site. I've seen a little bit more of it than most people have. Not a lot more, but a little more. And it looks pretty cool. You find yourself getting bored with no new content for a month or two. Yeah. So the average player is 2600, 2000, 2700. Let's compare this like the previous 12 months. So February 2020. So we're down 32 to 26. But at this point, the hype train was rolling on escalation, right? What if we compare it to January? January this year, 2700. January last year, 2100. December of 2020, 2600. December of 2019, 2000. Going back to the low month of September, 1983. September the previous year. What was it about September? Why did September suck so bad? It's the only month that didn't have a year-over-year rise, it looks like. They have to stop giving out dates for chapters and they just push them back even longer. Chapter 3 has been delayed. Back to school. Back to school, yeah. In between content drops. Yeah, fair enough. Well, outside of that one lull, it looks like, generally speaking, that we have seen a permanent increase in player population. A modest increase, not a paradigm-shifting increase. My interest level certainly has gone up. Okay, back to the thread. Let's look at Topinambus Tegexin's insight on the situation. I think it really comes down to fundamentals of what people actually want from Planetside 2. And this big over-the-top dynamic sandbox battles. I don't know if everyone wants this. That's what escalation provided, and it's why that update drew people back to the game. The mission system was weaker, but hey, a new Esamir, new areas to fight, and brought a population bump. Outfit Wars doesn't do that. They're too rigid, too limiting. Nobody comes to Planetside 2 for competitive gameplay. I don't know if I agree with that either. It feels like the problem is that RPG lacks the resources to make more of the big dynamic sandbox battle stuff. But the big dynamic sandbox battle stuff is the only way the game will grow. It's the way the game is most likely to get big population bumps, I think. Permanent growth, I think, is a question. New vehicles, tools, weapons, outfit assets, and new play spaces would pull people into the game. Those require a lot of dev time, so we get very lukewarm and updates, and the player base slowly bleeds. It's the same exact thing that happened before the rebranding to RPG, because I think that's all it was, a rebranding. I really don't think anything fundamentally changed, which sucks, but unless someone wants to grab RPG and pump a ton of money and time into Planetside 2, it's probably going to follow this cycle forever. At the end of September was the Shattered Warp Gate update. Hybrid says, seems like the change to RPG allowed them to finally finish and dump a lot of stuff that had been in the backlog and wasn't allowed to be finished for whatever reason. All stuff has run out, and this is where we are. Yeah, I am perceiving a slowdown, too. Are y'all feeling it, too? Like the content is is kind of grinding to a halt? I was really surprised when I watched the dev stream at the end of last year, and it seemed like all the stuff they wanted to do for 2021 was like in the conceptual stages. I'm like, dudes, it's like November. Next year's content should be pretty far along the way. Maybe Andy leaving has really hurt him on the communication department. I wonder if Andy was doing a lot of the heavy lifting on that. We saw Andy was the guy showing up on Reddit and Twitter on the weekends when servers were going down to deal with that stuff. It's hard to lose a guy like that. Whatever the reason was. Andy was the communication. You guys remember Matt Higbee? I've been thinking about him lately. You remember how the community felt about Matt Higbee? Of course, Higbee had the privilege of working on the game from the start. Like, he didn't have to pick up something that someone else made and make it work. Higbee's the big part of the reason we have the Vonu faction. Higbee's a big part of the reason we have max units in the game. But I think about the way the community looked at Higbee. Higbee, please. Remember? Higbee, please. Was the thing people would say. But people wanted a Matt Wigby in a way that people don't want to wear a Rel bandana. There's a difference in style. I'm not saying Rel's doing something wrong. I think in a lot of ways he's been a de facto communicator because he used to make YouTube videos and because he's a visible member of the dev team. But it makes a big difference when you have someone that players can easily connect to in the role of speaking towards the game. Andy definitely had the energy to him that was good. Wasn't really paying attention enough to the development side of the game when he was in charge. He just logged in and played, didn't think about anything else. Planetside 1 was the reason we have Maxis. TBG, yeah, Justin went to work at Sega. No, I think, Van, my understanding is that what on the original Planetside Next design document, max units were out. And Vonu was out. It was going to be a TR versus New Republic game. I think there were still vehicles and stuff, but there was no maxes and no 3 faction. And Matt Higby, I think, was a big part of the reason he really fought. Well, I'm not sure if he was the reason, but he was a reason why Planetside carried over those Planetside 1 things. I don't remember where I saw that. It might have been from like an AMA that he did a long time ago. I might do a show looking at some of the stuff that Higby put out there, because there's a lot of content about him from back in the day and a lot of things that he actually said. I looked and it looks like he actually deleted his Reddit account. But all his old posts, I think, are still up. I think. So there might be some interesting stuff to glean there. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta see where I can find that. Yeah, the story of the tortured development of Planetside. I'll tell you what story I really want to hear is the story of what happened in like a big part of the reason I wanted to have Rel on last year was to tell the story of Planetside development from like 2015 to 2019, when the game just went quiet as all hell. Like, what the heck? Right as a website that has deleted posts you can look up. Yeah. I'll do some research on that. I don't have anything ready today. I'm just musing at this point. I probably need to just go ahead and wrap this thing up. Are we done with this thread? Let's look at this salty post. Airwolfie says, nobody gives a fuck about Outfit Wars. It's only brought back people who were burnt out previously and will leave the game again. It brought in next to no new players. It's been a massive waste of effort. Its content is such that a small minority of people will experience it and not even enjoy it. 150 or less people watching some paid commentator seizure around an observer camera isn't going to bring you interest into the game. It's made the massive mistake of scaling down the game, and really that's the only thing Planetside has going for it. This is the same with all the recent content. Bastions, Colossus, no regular player gets to experience using these, and they aren't even well-designed gameplay. You literally added nothing that would bring back a previous player. It's all inaccessible. If they were actually interested in reviving the game, they'd be trying to host events on the live servers to have massive populations on one continent once a week. They've obviously downgraded the servers and reduced the population caps on the continents several times to where one continent will be decent, but nowhere near years ago, and the other is a waiting room for dog shit fights. The continent locking and opening system changes are awful right now as well. 3 continents should almost never be open. And when 2 are open, the quality of fights will probably be better if everyone is in shitty half. I'm tired. I don't want to read the rest of this paragraph. It's complaining about population. Last paragraph. The worst of all, the current spawn system has done the current spawn system has done probably the most damage to the game after Combat Combined Arms Initiative's release. Not being able to spawn at fights you are out-popped at to defend. Sunder is not appearing as spawns deliberately, but routers and beacons do. Meaningless timers at bases when respawning that no one's even at. Explain to me why I'm trying to spawn the next hex base over, none of the Sunder spawns appear, but if there's a router, I can join that fight. Welcome to the Serious Armory. Hey, Commander. We are hashing out Outfit Wars, what's going on with the game, for what it's worth. Serious, I saw you were covering the SolTech. What went down on SolTech? I was reading some of that stuff too. It's super interesting. But anyway. I think what I wanted to say about this, I have no comment about the spawn system. I don't know. But this paragraph is fairly interesting. Nobody gives a fuck about Outfit Wars. Obviously not true. Just someone venting. but it's got 21 upvotes. So some people agreeing. It's only brought back people who were burnt out previously and will leave the game again. So there are people who are interested in Planetside but not playing it at any given time. And they're the most likely people who are going to come back. So what does Outfit Wars actually have to do? Maybe a good way to wrap up this discussion for the night is to talk about what Outfit Wars actually has to do to be a success, to have some purpose in the game, to be worth the time of the community and the developers. And I had a very simple thought earlier, and it's going to sound stupid when I say it, but I think the only thing the Outfit Wars needs to be successful is for people to want to play it. Right? I know that sounds stupid. What am I talking about? Okay, I'll try to back it up a second. When I say all Outfit Wars needs is for people to want to play it, I'm talking about looking back at the purpose of the escalation update that brought in the Bastion, brought in more assets, brought in Outfit Wars. All things that RPG was deliberate in presenting as saying, here are reasons for outfits to exist. We're trying to make our game that relies on communities more properly reflect the need for those communities, to incentivize community building. So if we go with that high level, so an Outfit Wars provides an excuse for people to play, right? I'm seeing some great comments in the chat. I'll read those in a second. So Planetside is different from other multiplayer shooters in that it's not really possible to gain a good experience without playing with others. There is a solo experience to be had, and it's also valid to like have an outfit and then play solo some of the time or a lot of the time. But you can't really learn how to be good at Planetside by yourself, and you can't really get a lot of things done in Planetside by yourself. It's a game that's best experienced with others cooperatively. And because of that reality, it makes sense to incentivize content that encourages outfits to develop. And so an outfit war makes sense. This is all in the conceptual arena, right? I'm not talking about implementation at all, just in the conceptual arena. In a way, what Outfit Wars does is provide a sense of dharma, which is like an Ayurvedic term. And it's this idea that of pursuing what is best for you via the pursuit of what is good for others. So if what's good for your outfit is to have a goal, to print out bastions, to win at Outfit Wars, you will do what is good for you to do that. You'll develop as a player. You'll learn new skills. You'll try to join an outfit that's organized enough. You'll do all these things. This is the high level idea of Outfit Wars and what makes it work. What makes it work conceptually in Planetside. And in my mind, I'm asking myself, does it need to be competitive? And I don't know if it needs to be. If it's presented in a tournament fashion, it implies competition. Maybe there's a mixed message going on there. I'm going to read some of these comments and come back to my line of thinking. Rapid, hey Rapid, says the solution is different size tiers. The best matches are between large outfits right now. Make one for different outfits like BUA and Recursion to enjoy without bloating the outfits of the format. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice concept, but the implementation is tough. And I think some of those tiers would be quite small, right? I'm not sure if like the Recursion and BUA tier would be well populated on every server. Max pops on maps need to be increased. I look at Overwatch as an esport, and my argument concerning them is why bother watching when playing is more fun. It's your personal perception of it. Size tiers might be a good idea. It's the only solution right now. You can't just delete all that work, instead add to it. Yeah. So Outfit Wars is almost certainly not getting deleted. This is a possibility I played with on last week's show of maybe it's worth checking it out, but that's not going to happen. Like, it's actually got too much good going for it to get rid of it. And things I think are not likely to happen is we're not likely to see outfits of the same faction being able to play each other, which kind of sucks. But it doesn't seem like that's the thing that's likely to happen. We're not going to see Desolation get used for 1v1 fights because it's just built and programmed the way it is. And I don't get the sense that there's the appetite on RPG's side to go back and redevelop Desolation right now. And if they do, it would take long enough that people would forget about it. So, what can change with Outfit Wars? Well, we know that the way that it's presented to us and that we engage with it and sign up for it can change. Because we saw it change from last year to this year. We went from this heinous qualification, Hellzerg, to this opt-in, anyone can play way of doing it, which is something that Rel said he wanted. He wanted more people to be able to play Outfit Wars. You have that, but now you have lower quality matches. Because anyone can sign up, and it's hard to not sign up, and there were some bugs. Like, I mean, this is like an alpha, we're testing some stuff. Some bugs are to be expected, but generally speaking, even without all the bugs, the quality of the matches is lower than it was when people had to go through hell to get in last year. Rapid, this is something you pointed out to me, which I think was a very smart point. This is not to endorse any specific way of getting at people into Outfit Wars, just to say there is space to move the needle one way or the other. And I think a lot of the complaints about the point scoring, about the playoff format, all this stuff can easily change. And it's not worth getting too hung up on. Tiers like 20, 40, 60, Dragon says. Kai says, I think it needs to have a different feel to live if the goal is to give Outfit something to work towards and stick around for. Rapid says, if I can sign up for Outfit Wars, I might as well be able to sign up for a smaller format. Yes. Ben says, to me, Outfit Wars doesn't have a point in the world. Planetside backbone's persistent world. Outfit Wars is everything but that. I don't know if I agree with that. I think we would like it to be connected, right? I get how it could seem disconnected. I think that outfits are supposed to be the connective tissue there, right? And there's a separate conversation to be had about how outfits work and whether actually using outfits as the vehicle for Outfit Wars makes the most sense. Moon says, because to me, the bigger outfit leaders seem to enjoy the format as it is. Yeah, there are a lot of people who seem to be just enjoying it. And there are outfits for which this is actually just a good time. You can appeal to everyone with this. Yeah. Dragon says 1v1 has the same issue of faction balance. It's asymmetrical by design, meaning A beats B, B beats C, C beats A. 1v1 means A versus B at some point. Yeah, I think that it would be good if Planetside had some 1v1 stuff in it, but I don't think we'll get that from Desolation. And it sucks to swallow that pill. But knowing with the velocity we've seen, the communication we've had, and with the speed of iteration on Outfit Wars we've seen, I don't think that's something that is unfortunately we can really expect. I would like to be surprised by that. Jaeger offers 1v1 stuff already, yeah. And there are formats that are happening on Jaeger that can and perhaps should be brought into the live game. I'm a big proponent of that. Especially, I like the 6v6 infantry format. I think there's a lot of promise there, especially because many of the players who are most frustrated by the lack of competitive rigor of Outfit Wars, I think overlap with the 6v6 infantry community. Let me know if you guys think that I have the right of that, but I think that the Venn diagram there is pretty homogenous. Rapid, we have alerts, continents closed, so does Desolation. That's a response to Van's comment about it feeling part of the world, Rapid. Kai says factions are unbalanced enough to affect the outcome of a match. Are we talking about faction balance? Maybe I missed that. Moon, I mean Jaeger offers 1v1. Yeah, okay, I already read that. Rabid IBM, they did say they really want Outfit Wars to be a community event that has representative of the live server. Live server has smaller outfits, so they should be present. Underpopulated or terrible to be in. I would love to see a squad size Outfit Wars for those who can't field 48 players. Yes, this is one of the things that I think has potential of changing for Outfit Wars, actually, is we could see them try a format where instead of bringing a full platoon per side, it's a half platoon. And I think if you do that, you could include a lot more outfits. Now, the downside is you'd have bigger outfits that had to cut more players. But as long as we're like fantasizing, let's take this one step further, right? What if we created a construct, a team, a clan, a guild, whatever you want to call it, that was either embedded within the outfit or outside the outfit that allowed you to form teams for Outfit Wars? Like, I get the importance. I'm thinking of games like Guild Wars. If y'all haven't played Guild Wars 2, it's a fantasy MMORPG. There are guilds in it. There are raids, dungeons, PvP, all that good stuff. But it's a game that lets you sign up for 5 guilds at a time, 5 outfits at a time. Can you imagine if in Planetside 2 you could sign up for 5 outfits at a time, and you would choose at any given time which outfit you want to represent and get the associated perks and stuff like that. 1v1v1 in PvP. True, guy. World v world you're thinking of. And I know this adds to the infrastructure bill for RPG, and it makes it, I think, somewhat outside the realm of feasibility to have this idea. But I think that one of the biggest limiting factors about Outfit Wars and future competitive formats that can use the Outfit Wars infrastructure is the need to have an outfit represent a team that you see in the format. You keep saying things aren't important to Planetside, but I don't think you've said what you think is Deeg. It separates Overwatch even more from the rest of Planetside. I want to respond to that, Van. Let me think about what you said. What is important to Planetside? Okay. Outfit Wars, not Overwatch. I keep saying Overwatch when I see OW. It's such an old habit. I'm sorry. It's my boomer brain. What is Planetside? Okay. I'll tell you what Planetside is to me. Let me think for a moment. Planetside is a battle that is told, that is acted out and created by the players. Players decide whether it's going to be a great fight or a shitty fight. Players decide if it's going to be even or not even. The players get to write their will across the battlefields of Araxis. That's what Planetside is to me. And because it's a PvP sandbox with relatively fast times to kill, what that means, and because there's combined arms and all kinds of dependencies and rock, paper, scissors in the game, it means that cooperating is central. And to me, I think the social experience of Planetside is fundamental to it. Planetside is about getting together with a bunch of dudes to take on a bunch of other dudes and to get fucked with by a bunch of other dudes and girls, you know, and thems, theys. Planetside is about a 2v1 point hold, like a 2-to-1 point hold on a tech plant. Planetside is light assault farming a tower of noobs. Planetside is its asymmetry and its cooperation and its competition And the point is not to make any of these things ascendant, but to keep them in suspension so they all remain in the mix. And that's what makes Outfit Wars good, because it represents that quality of Planetside. I'm not really sure if I really boiled down a good answer for you, Van. What would persistence not being important for writing a story? Well, the question about that Van, is how persistent is actually Planetside? Like, outside of your personal character progression, how are we actually changing the battlefield? You might get your outfit's name on a base for a little while, but in that sense, you could argue that like a win in I want to say Overwatch, my brain is malfunctioning, in Outfit Wars has more persistence than taking a tech plant on Esamir. Because there will be news articles written about it. There'll be casts written about it. People will talk about it. People like me will cover it. People will post on Reddit complaining about it. That's all part of the story writing. I missed a bunch of comments. That's an issue you have with Planetside 2 in comparison to Planetside 1. Say more, Van. I'm curious. All right, let's get caught up on a few other things. Dragon says, my outfit's kind of dead these days with the exception of Saturdays. Love it if it could be in multiple outfits in the same faction for the activity's sake. Like, I've experienced that in Guild Wars, and I think it's got potential for a game like Planetside if it could be implemented. Moon would agree with my great idea. Excellent. 6v6, 12v12, 24v24. Rabbit says, you sort of can by having multiple characters active on your account. You look for different outfits on different factions, different servers, get a variety of experiences. Sure. Can you be on... This is a dumb question. Can you be in multiple different outfits on the same server on the same faction if you're on different characters? Air Armor Infantry. Planetside is fuck the NPE, am I right? Kai, are you making fun of me? Doge Ego? Is that how you say your name? The NPE is stupidly rough, yeah. Assuming NPE is new player experience on new to Planetside 2, and it's insane getting clapped every bunch of seconds. Yeah, man, getting into Planetside 2 is a rough on-ramp. It's worthwhile. It's a long on-ramp that goes pretty high, but it can be rough. Kai, that's what makes it great, or stupidly frustrating. My NPE was drop pod, you loved it. Until you leveled up, you're about to quit. Moon, they've come out and said the NPE is one of their main things in 2021 they're working on. NPE needs, oh boy, it's an NPE discussion now, boys. NPE needs tutorial that is not brain dead, new player protection from MLG level players, and incentive to join outfits built into the experience. Drop pod to crown NPE got me to play. None of the mechanics are well explained, especially the deeper mechanics. That's the issue you have with Planetside. Okay, man. You have no idea what outfits are even. What is an outfit? Well, I can answer that question. It's a tag on your name that you share with a bunch of other dudes. And it's a way for you to accrue war assets that let you get things like Bastion fleet carriers. Yeah, the giant floating Marvel battleships. Yeah. Flying base. I wish they were flying bases. That would be cool. Not having C4 or nowhere even to go to those things. It's like going outside the game. Like YouTube. Understand what the fuck's going on. Doge go. Okay, got it. Van says content locks used to be permanent until someone came and took it. Sank locking a faction was shit talk bait for weeks, months afterwards. You had a world map. Yes, I vastly prefer that way of fight generation. It's more sandboxy, Van. I'll talk about that in a second. I miss that about Planetside 1 a lot. And it did imply permanence because bases you took didn't flip until someone came back and actually went through the same capture process you went down to capture it. Rapid, you do have several in the same faction and server but different outfits. If you open up a map and every continent was blue, you knew some shit went down. For NPE, it's more like you're slammed in the face with a bunch of stuff with a little info on how the launcher sends you to some seriously outdated videos. Lol. Amen for outdated videos. Game is faster nowadays. You're 100% on the fuck NPE bandwagon. Best Deeg rant I ever did. Okay. Yeah, so Doge Go, this is my thing about the new player experience for Planetside, is I don't think it's practical to give new players a non-rough start in Planetside. And my basic idea is yes, like pick the low-hanging fruit of the new player experience, modernize the tutorial, have some better resources available in the game, improve the basic loadouts, all that stuff. Don't let go of that stuff. But I think that if people were prepared by the presentation and marketing of Planetside as a game to accept a rough start, to accept the challenge, to pick up a thrown gauntlet when they log into Planetside, it would help. Sometimes the new player experience isn't about making it easy. It's about setting expectations. Rough start's okay if you could learn the progression. Is it possible to skip a tutorial making a new character? It sucks to go through. I think you can redeploy from the tutorial, Rabid. And you can go to the world selection screen. Yeah, I agree with you, Doge. Progression is super unclear. So yeah, like the way you should start playing Planetside, right, is you should pick an infantry class that interests you, use a default weapon, and unlock some suit skills. And do the basic class unlocks first. I'm actually to the point where I actually wonder if the basic suit unlocks should just all be unlocked from the start. And have the only thing you grind certs for be things like guns, vehicles, you know. But yeah, so like my whole idea with the new player experience is to say, don't make it easy for players. Tell players it's hard. And you should also tell players that the only way to survive is to find a friend. Find a friend, find an outfit, join some ops. And I'm sure there are ways the game could do a better job of paving the road to entrance into some of these big outfits that actually do ops. And it's extremely useful for a new player to join any outfit that does anything organized, because it'll give you a tour of Araxis. You'll get to know the game with a bunch of people by your side who are going to mean that you're not going to die every 5 seconds. And as useful as it is to get used to dying, being in a situation where you're not dying every 5 seconds and someone's telling you how to play the game is extraordinarily valuable. The worst thing you can do in Planetside is try to get good at the game solo. It's miserable. You've no one to share your misery with. The resources are all over the place. Some are outdated. And it's just a hard game to learn how to play. There's so much deep lore and weird interactions. Your solo ASP 100 still bad. Here's to being bad. I'm right there with you. I'll drink to that. Rapid, best suggestion you've heard in a while is to start players as an NSO. Choose your faction at BR15. Other than offering faction flexibility, what does that do? Doge, go. Have you engaged with the mission system at all? I'm just curious. Kai, Deeg, you're a bad 1KD Vanu main. Makes sense, bye. Yeah, sorry, man. My point of view has no value. Your ASP 100, your aim is worse than a blind person. Yeah, I mean, having a high-level character doesn't mean having a high-skill character. And in fact, not everyone who plays Planetside has to be super good at clicking heads. Like, clicking heads will sure help. But it's not the most important thing. I sound like Afflick. I'm not sure if you mean that in a negative sense or not. But Afflick and I share some opinions, so it's entirely possible that I sound like him. Running a mentor squad doesn't offer that much reward. It would be cool if something distinct were offered for training noobs, which would not be unlocked in any other way. It puts a lot more worth behind picking a faction. You get more attached and invested to the faction you choose if you have content other than music and colors. Yeah, I get it. So offering the faction choice right off the bat is a meaningless choice because you have no idea what the stakes are. It's kind of like choosing Horde or Alliance for World of Warcraft at the start. It's like, okay, I'll pick the one that looks cool, I guess. Although, maybe that's not a proper comparison. I think about it. I have a secret item equipped called a magnet helmet. It attracts all the bullets to my head. You know what, Dragon? I think I have one of those too. Faction loyalty comes down to the people you play with. Yes, it all comes down to the people you play with, I think. So I've been playing Planetside solo on my stream for a few days last week just to kick the rust off. I'm probably going to try to find an outfit to join because to me, that's the fun experience. I'm also, when I give you my idea of what Planetside is good for, am weighting it towards my bias. And I'm someone who really values social experiences in games. Here's my thing. So one of the things I've started to understand about myself recently is this. I really enjoy social experiences in games, but I really don't enjoy easy, transactional, or meaningless social interactions in games. So what that means is if I'm just matchmaking with a bunch of strangers against a bunch of strangers, it's not really a social experience, right? Think of your lobby shooters. You know what I'm talking about. Another way that it's not great is if I'm doing something with a bunch of people, but it's easy. If I'm doing some easy dungeon in a fantasy MMO, like, okay, there's something to be there, but it's not really very social. It doesn't really challenge me. The way that value from social gaming, I think, really emerges is when a group of players voluntarily tackle something that is hard for them. It doesn't have to be objectively hard, but hard for them. That's why the epic point holds are such exclamation points of positive Planetside experience. Voluntarily tackling something hard with other people is what makes friendships. Think about who your friends are. Who are people in your real life who you trust? Who would you call if you were moving and needed help? You would call someone who you've done something hard with in the past. A coworker, a family member. But you're not going to call your asshole brother who sits on the couch all day and won't lift a finger to help anyone. Can't get a job. You're not going to help that person because they're not involved in doing something, like they have not passed through the gauntlet of human experiences that is challenging social problem solving. So Planetside is at its best for me when there is when there is social problem solving with stakes involved. And that's what Outfit Wars could be. And for many, I think it already is. Stakes. Yes. Man, you really like that, huh? I'm glad you like something I said. You've been down on what I've been saying the last few minutes, I feel like. Doge, your main issue is you can't get people to play this game without pushing them for ages. Oh, man. I got a rant for this, too. It took you 3 years in the pandemic and being bored at the end of the pandemic to get into it. It shouldn't have to be the case. Yeah. Yeah. Bro, I cannot get my friends to play Planetside. I have, like, driven them around in Sunderers, and they still won't log in a second time. No matter how easy, no matter how, whatever I do. Planetside is a niche game. People are smart when they see it. They know if they're going to like it or not. And this is my other idea. This is why the new player experience is not all it's cracked up to be. I think you can't convince people to play Planetside with a new player experience. All you can do is make it smoother for people who will already play the game. I just defined what hurt B-Way so much in the last year. They actually tried to collect all the talent into one faction to make it easier. Yeah. Yeah. And okay. I think, Rapid, that what we're talking about, what you're referring to and what I talked about is, I think what we're talking about is the phenomenon that occurs when players who value skill and taking on hard problems find each other. So if you have a game like Planetside, which is a true sandbox, where there's no real win condition that endures, that is meaningful, that you can walk away the end of the day and say, I won. Even the alert system is such that it's faction-wide, and it's hard to feel a lot of agency in your faction winning when you're just one person out of a few hundred. So because there's so many valid ways to play the game, if you're one of those people who's willing to put in the thousands of hours to be insanely good, to coordinate callouts, to play on the Jaeger server to get better, to watch videos, to communicate in multi-platoon voice chats, like, you're going to find people who want to do that with you. That's why I was attracted to playing with B-Way last year. Because they were wanting to tackle something hard, and I saw value in that. And that's where I think it's good. Now, someone like AOD trying to come together to do something, they can have something that's hard for AOD as well. The bigger outfits can have their own hard challenges that are different from the B-Way challenges, and that's fine. You don't actually have to be Bushido Way to get connected to gamers by consensually tackling hard problems in a social environment. You just got to take the time to actually coordinate, connect, be involved, which is a cost that many people won't pay. There are a lot of people I know who are my friends, who I play games with occasion, who as soon as the game requires some investment and some forethought, they're out. They only want to play the low-hanging fruit. They want to get the easy dopamine hits, and then they're out of here. Like, I kind of get that, but at the same time, it frustrates me. Planetside is a game that suggests that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and the rainbow just keeps on going. Outfit Wars, if it's presented well and packaged well, could be a pot of gold, but it's never going to serve everyone. But it does provide a social problem-solving venue for many players that is valuable and fun to play. And it does provide a community event people can rally around, even if it's not the most competitive thing ever. There's got to be a way to package up Outfit Wars. All right, comment time. An Araxium crown. Dragon, I think you're onto something there, man. The magnetizing Araxium crown. It being free is a huge boon. If it wasn't free to play, definitely be dead. Yeah, you might be right. It'd certainly be a lot smaller and a lot different. You appreciate the sheer depth of the game beyond the new player experience. Yeah. So Doge, even though it has a shitty new player experience, you're seeing the future value and potential. You've seen people drop Outfit Wars and various other games quick too. Overwatch. Gunplay is the bigger complaint. It's very dated. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep a 9-year-old game having updated gunplay feeling. Especially when there are games like Call of Duty, they're putting out new versions every single year. Like, you just can't compete with those games at what they're good at. Kai, maybe you could also argue that being free allows players to abandon it quicker. They have no investment to keep them pushing past the initial frustration. Yeah. I think that there is another side to that sword. Command chat. Waste of time. Yes, correct. It's interesting how things like TeamSpeak and Discord have cannibalized some of the communication features of Planetside, isn't it? And games like Planetside. Save command chat's a shame. Had massive potential. Used to have great effect. You think your background of playing WoW and FPS is how you took it? Yeah, that was it for me too, man. So I was talking about this earlier. I used to play a competitive capture the flag shooter called Team Fortress Classic. And I started playing fantasy RPGs, and I saw the progression system. I really liked them. I was like, oh shit, like a persistent progression system and a shooter. Planetside 1's my jam. And I've been just a fan ever since. You have a lot of friends that would do either, but rarely both. The game got more fun once you got the NS weapons for free through some codes. You no longer wanted to rage at how long it would take to grind. Yeah, getting a few weapons in your stable that you can kind of cycle through and vary up your gameplay does make it feel more fun. Doge, go. Where are you playing, man? What's your server faction? Lineage 2 and Counter-Strike. Connery. A lot of the reason behind people moving to the third-person VoIP was the comms being broken for years. Yeah, I mean, totally. But even if the comms were working, these tools that come together were never more robust than they are today. You play all three sides. Fourth factioning from the start, man. You got pro written all over you, dude. Yeah. So I'm caught up with chat now. Outfit Wars doesn't have to be full platoon. It doesn't have to be outfits. It doesn't have to be in a tournament bracket. But there needs to be a way for people in outfits or who want to come together to play it. So hopefully RPG can smooth down that on-ramp. And people who don't want that experience will just opt out of it, and we'll stop seeing these joke low-value matches. I think there's always going to be a question of whether collusion is outright or functional, or collusion is premeditated or emergent. And that's going to be a fun thing about the format that's going to be with us forever. But I don't think that means it's bad. I think invalidating it because it's 1v1v1 is trying to put a stamp on it that it doesn't need to have. I guess my point is Outfit Wars can be iterated on in the fashion that it's in and still have value. But it doesn't excuse the lack of other outlets of competition that do have more rigor. I would love to see the Outfit Wars infrastructure developed in a way that's flexible enough that it can be used to do other competitive formats. I want to see lane smashes. I want to see out infantry fights. I want to see all of it. And if we had a multi-outfit system, so you could have your outfit that was your 6v6 infantry outfit, your outfit that was your Outfit Wars outfit, and your outfit that's your massive Zerg live outfit. Like, is this a bad thing? I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. I certainly don't think that being able to just queue into an outfit war, like as a singleton, is necessarily great for the game. I've heard that suggested. I also think there's just a tremendous amount of overhead for that that is not likely to be tackled. Doge, I'm considering membership. Become a member. Support RPG. RPG compels you. The Araxium Crown compels you. Subscribe to Shoctorr Araxium Crown. Give me some more battle rifles. My first gun Araxium was the VE33 Eidolon. This is all making me want to log in and play, man. Try a few outfits. This game can be a completely different experience depending on who you play with. True. Second that recommendation. You did play semi-pro tournaments before. Counter-Strike, TF2, Left 4 Dead, Overwatch. You can't invest that much time into a game as you have a job. Respect, dude. Fuck. Man, ever since I started doing this content game, I have thirsted after, like, the lifestyle I had in my early 20s when I didn't have a career or a job or a wife or any of that shit, and I could just play games all day. Like, I started this like 15 years too late. But then again, Twitch wasn't here 15 years ago. None of the infrastructure that's making it possible for me to actually talk to y'all was here 15 years ago. So what the hell am I talking about? If all the teams are decent, you'll never have collusion. I gotta think about that idea. I think the reasons for collusion would be much less, but there can still be grudges that play out in the outfit war. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. The trick is if people are entering with the intention to win. If they change their intention from winning to coming in second place in the middle of the game, I think that's probably okay. Like, I think maybe what we saw in the SolTech match we watched earlier between those lovely Asian gentlemen. Asian and non-Asian gentlemen, I guess. Just gentlemen. And maybe some ladies. Units, entities, beings, souls. Planet souls. The main appeal is the massive battles. I'm curious, Doge, as you play Planetside, if you stick with it long term, if your opinion will change about the appeal being the massive battles. I think most people who play Planetside long term, have their reason to play shift away from the big battles. Because what I think you may find is that as you gain competence in the game, at whatever you choose to play with, whether it's infantry or tanks or air or whatever it is, what you'll find is that in massive battles, your agency and your ability to actually use the skills that you've developed and the things you invested in is really watered down. Like, I actually had a conversation on the stream about field fights. You know, the idea of having a big fight between two bases and tank shells and infantry running across doing charges. And it's one of those things that looks great when you see it on like a PC gamer screenshot. But I think for most players who are invested in the game would find that kind of a fight to be really unfun. And most people enjoy having a somewhat smaller scale fight that gives them a little bit of latitude to move around, not have every single line of sight be covered by some asshole infiltrator or tank in the distance, and have some room to fuck up and still get some kills. Repairman with the gift subs. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Field fight. Yeah. I think of the meme of the food fight guy. You know, where he calls food fight and gets slapped when I hear field fight. Airhammer goes Thumo. Nah, field fights are the best. Field fights are actually a rare gem of fun. There's varying opinions about this. Anyway, Doge, if you're on Discord, I would love to connect. I don't get a chance to hear a lot of new player impressions of the game. I'd love to stay in touch and hear about your opinions about it over time. I do play on Connery occasionally too. Maybe we can squad. Dragon, what about using Outfit Wars as a pseudo-server smash where victory is decided by a joint effort of all the outfits on the server? Like a outfit all-star team where like each faction sends each outfit sends like 2 members or something like that. That's kind of interesting. I think that would be boring if done frequently, but it'd be fun if it was like a once a year type deal. Rabid, one of the problems with the current model of Outfit Wars, they're trying to make it seem like it has an ELO system for the matchmaking, but without a statistically valid sample size of matches or enough teams to be worth an ELO system. All we get from this a lot of rematches. Yeah, they need to improve that if they're going to keep this system of having the matches made. It's very clearly quite rough. I agree. It's a problem. Dragon Souls, come on to me. You got way too excited about that. But I'll take it. Kai, echoing what I said earlier, appeal's not massive battles, it's the asymmetry. Van, you downscale Outfit Wars, do it once a week per server, get some actual Planetside story backbone behind it, and the winning faction gets some kind of tangible bonus for the week. Needs to affect the rest of the game. What if having your faction or your outfit win an outfit war got you access to some new content in the game quicker? Like, what if there was a new mission? So this is something that Destiny does, I really like, is they have these exotic weapons. And Planetside does not have an equivalent of an exotic weapon. Let's just say there was a new weapon. like a new nanite systems, like a new beautiful NS15 reskin, you know, it has doges on it, like dogs, beautiful dogs. Okay. And the only way to get this is to have your server win an outfit war. If you win the outfit war, you unlock for your entire faction on your server a directive, let's say, or a mission where you can unlock the weapon. I'm just saying, like, they need to get the basics in place for this so they can start finding things to hook in. And Van, I see that floats your boat. Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that can happen once the basics are in place. I say can happen. Will they happen? Maybe. You hate NS weapons. I'm not a big fan of it either. NS15 was just kind of a joke suggestion. It could be a banner that says, I love coffee or I love tea. And you could be in the coffee gang or the tea gang. Like, there's all kinds of ways to bring out the community. I would be coffee gang, by the way. If y'all aren't coffee gang, y'all can get fucked. No, I'm just kidding. Makes you hate redeploy side because there's seldom ever any field fights. Yeah, true. Planetside 1 had a lot more field fights because moving around the battlefield was hard and you had to use, generally speaking, use vehicles. Although late Planetside 1, pretty much everyone with a brain was using fighters, air fighters to move around the battlefield, which wasn't functionally super, super different from redeploy. You love those Shadow Warp Gate fights with the Chapter 1 of campaign launched. I wish I had been playing the first week that was out. I feel like I missed out on a really cool experience by not being there. I can't remember what I was doing. I couldn't get in. Need to leave one of your 100 servers, too many Discord servers. I just trimmed back like 20 out of the 45 I was in. I felt a little bad about it, but it feels nice now. Rapid figured it out. Oh boy. Take the Overwatch. I can't stop saying Overwatch. Take the Outfit Wars 1 qualifying thing and use that for seeding. Easy clap. So the Outfit Wars qualifying thing was the hell grind. People went through of capturing territory to get points. Use it for seeding. Oh, that's interesting. It would certainly give a better starting point. Is the effort to do that worth the long-term? Like, it's something that would only need to be done once, right? Dragon, you're a hardcore Vanu player and you want more space guns. There's a man after my own Vanu heart. Papa Vanu salutes you, Dragon. More space guns. I missed out on picking carrots. I did. Shadow Warp Gate fights were nuts. Carrots got fixed in 2 days, but will remain a meme forever. Thank God for the memes. Ghost fits Fallout fast. Bring back convoy missions and beef them up. Faction who won that week's over Outfit Wars gets to defend convoys. Whoever wins gets something to help the alert. You don't know. Yeah. You don't want the hell grind to return. Now that we have previous Outfit Wars on record, those who perform well can be seated to the top. Yeah, and like if we know generally where people were, then I mean RPG could just hand seed things and just not tell anyone what they are. And as long as they don't do something really stupid, like it should work out okay. I mean, it's okay if a few outfits are seeded a little wrong, as long as it's generally like, okay, put recursion near the top and put space pigs near the bottom, or whatever the hell it needs to be. Love you, space pigs. Kai, he means that large outfits would naturally accrue more points, so smaller outfits wouldn't need to know life because they would be seeded differently and therefore not be competition with the larger outfits. Zergfits rise to the top, which they will get stuck with a few wins, while the Leafits can win at the mid-tier and climb. Yeah, we're still talking about tiers. Are there enough outfits who want to play Outfit Wars to actually make the tier idea work? This is my concern. Unless you can make the competitions cross-server, which I don't know if there's a technical ability to do that. Not on SolTech, yeah. I'm not as familiar with the server environment as y'all are, but that'll be my concern. Like, it could be cool if only like the B-Ways of the world play the B-Ways of the world, and the Recursions play the Recursions of the world. But if there are only like 5 outfits across all servers that meet or in that tier, it kind of defeats the point. Cross server, not likely. People's ping would be awful. Yeah, and I also think that you're right, there would be latency issues, but it also just is probably a technical barrier besides. Like, there's no technology right now that lets people play their Emerald characters on the Miller server if they want to, and they would have to implement something like that. Especially not without the rules being explained in game and translated. Right. Yeah, that's something they need to get on top of. Alpha, though, alpha test. Don't forget alpha. Tiers can happen naturally if you let the Outfit Wars 1 point system exist again. Honestly, you rarely got imbalanced matches in Outfit Wars 1 and 2. CN9 commented they had latency issues playing in Connery from China. Yeah, West Coast to China. West Coast US to China, I can imagine that. Yeah, right, but again, I see that there could be a mechanism for defining the tiers. But my question is whether the population of interested outfits is enough to make competing in all those tiers worthwhile. Are we talking about 2 different tiers or 3 different tiers? Because if we're talking about 2 tiers, I can see a lot of outfits falling somewhere in the middle and being stuck either being romped at the top tier or having no contest at in the broader tier. 3 tiers, though, I start to worry about there being enough actual matches to go around. So you need an outfit from each faction to make each Outfit Wars fight even happen. I mean, maybe if you went back to the idea of 48 to 24, but then you have the problem of only having be able to enlist 1 Outfit Wars squad or platoon per outfit, and you need to have additional infrastructure to allow for some other mechanism for people to come together to play the format. You're just saying 1 and let the tiers happen naturally just within the rankings. Oh, so just for seeding. Yeah, and if the seeding is good, like, you don't necessarily need to have the tiers to have a hard division, right? They can be like a soft division. Like if your ELO is above X, then you're a platinum division. If it's below, whatever. Okay, we're on the same page now. Things I'm hearing. Lots of suggestions about how to make getting into the match better than it is now. There's clearly a lot of ground to be made there. I'm hearing from a few people a desire to make it more of a literal part of the Planetside story. And I think having like events that feed back into the live game makes that possible. Like being able to give out titles or backgrounds or whatever it is that they're doing for this outfit, where I don't actually know what the reward's going to be. Maybe y'all know. Is good. It's a starting point, but it's kind of like the bare minimum of what should happen to get people excited about Outfit Wars. Because one of the things that's going to excite people the most about engaging with that system, if there's a way that they can permanently change their character by engaging in it. A unique camo, even if it's ugly. A weapon skin, again, even if it's ugly. I think titles have kind of low value at this point. Emblems maybe more so, like the logos, maybe have some more value there. But I think that things like camo and weapon skins have enduring value. Helmets, of course. Yeah. Yeah. And, I started off this whole discussion tonight by talking about some of the attitudes that I've been seeing in the community talking about this. This discussion we're having here in the chat is actually great. Y'all are bringing ideas. No one's attacking each other. And we're not getting distracted by anger, I don't think. Which is something that I see a lot of, and I hope that I can promote a way to talk about Planetside that is not full of anger and resentment. And it happens at all levels. I think that we see salty elite players hating like more casual players and developers. Like we see more casual players hating elite players. We see, I'm sure there's resentment from developers towards people playing the game. Like there's just a lot of feelings. But we're all humans. We're all people. Like, I'm just a guy who plays the game and loves talking about it. Y'all are people who love playing the game and talking about it. Rel and RPG are people who just make games. There's got to be a better, less. I don't want to use the word toxic because it's so overused. I get why people are pissed. I really do get why people are pissed. And it's okay to be pissed. But it's up to every single person who's pissed to act on their anger. And I think that we should all be careful to make ourselves the victim. Not just in Planetside, but everywhere. When we make ourselves a victim, we make ourselves helpless in the story we tell ourselves about the world. And that creates resentment with no clear course of action. And it makes your success and your happiness dependent on the actions of others who might not have anything to do with you or any interest in you whatsoever. It's far better to take control of how you feel, act on it in a way that's direct. And when you come to the world, see the people you interact with as other humans who have their own thoughts, fears, and anger that is theirs to own. Dragon, my anger has less to do with players and more things in the game that seem like to reek of faction bias. Trying to talk about it sounds like a broken record of heavy metal. Yeah. We can do it. So here's an idea that I have, guys. Tell me what you think. I think I might want to try to do a call-in show for Planetside discussion. I know Archie does these, but I have a different idea about how I might want to handle these. And I want to give people the chance to talk about stuff that's bothering them or that they love. You know, I haven't decided exactly what the topic's going to be, but like, what makes you angry about Planetside is, I think, a great potential topic. And I want to give a chance to each of you guys who wants to come up on the stream and talk to me. And we're not going to talk for 2 minutes. We can talk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know what the format's going to be. But you need to have time with a person you're talking to build rapport and have a communication that's worthy in itself and worth sharing and repeating. Would you guys like to do a call-in show of some kind? Rabbit, thanks for calling out the victim complex. You get tired of counterpointing them. People cling to victimhood because it seems to take the sting off of things, and by taking their victimhood away, you're reapplying the sting and get mad at you. Hey, Dragon, thanks for the follow. Or Dragoon, sorry, I've been saying your name wrong this whole time. Apologize. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually, I think people are victims out there. I think people actually are victims of things. Almost everyone here listening to this, watching this later in the chat, is a victim of something. And I'm not trying to say people aren't. It's all about your mentality. A victim mentality is a thing that has great possibility to cause you personal harm and to stunt your ability to contend with the ever-changing needs of the world and the battlefield around you. Vent your anger. Don't accept the victim narrative. Find out why you're angry. Make a plan. Act on it. Boom. Victim mentality is tough. Getting over it is hard. Yes, it is hard. And it's worthwhile. And I think these things can go hand in hand. Things that are worthwhile can oftentimes be hard. So story time. Man, this is going long, but I'm having a great time. Story time. Talk about being angry. Last year, I think I told y'all earlier that I was playing with Bushido Way, right? A lot of you guys know them. They're a moderate-sized outfit of very high-skill players playing Vonu and Emerald. And they just have a lot of very good players. They also have this incredible culture of teaching and self-improvement that is so good. They expect a lot out of themselves and each other, and it shows. They have a more casual dimension to the outfit, but there's always room for people who want to improve. Great. They have a feeder outfit called Elway. That's right, learning the way. I played with Elway last year, and I got a lot better when I did that. And I had fun, but I got to a point where I felt overlooked by B-Way. I felt that people in Elway were being brought into B-Way who were at a similar or lower skill level than I was. And that made me feel bad, man. I even vented to the B-Way leadership saying, I think y'all are overlooking me. And what happened was they were very cool. They said, we're going to give you a chance to show us what you got. And that's what I did. I came back to them a few weeks later. I don't remember exactly what happened, but the way the conversation ended with me and the B-Way leaders is they said, I'm really sorry, man. You feel overlooked. Like, your stats look fine. If you want, we'll bring you into the outfit. They actually offered to just bring me in because they respected that I put in the time and that I felt that I'd earn a spot. Salty D, can't imagine it. I was salty, bro. I can look at the DMs. When the B-Way leadership looked at me and said, you can have a spot, I immediately knew that I was taking out my anger on someone else. Because I felt frustrated about my ability to spend time playing the game to get to the level these players were at. I felt frustrated that my time zone wasn't really compatible with B-Way. They're mostly, they do ops at like 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm working at that time. So to play with them, I have to fuck with my work schedule and move dinner with my wife. It's a pain in the ass. But I did it. I sacrificed to do it. And I felt frustrated. And I realized that what I really wanted was actually not to be really good at Planetside. And that was not the most important thing to me. So I thought about their offer. I said, you know what? That's really big of you to offer. But I think actually what I'm going to do is take a step back, work with this feeling that I'm having, and refocus. And I refocused on the podcast. That's what I did. Within a few months, I had Rel on my podcast. And since then, I've just been having a great time exploring this space of learning games by talking about them. And I still have these experiences. And I still wish I could be in those groups of Slayers. But this is actually a much more direct way for me to act out the things I care about. Still working on it. Anyway, that's the story. It's a story of how addressing my anger led to me finding something that was even better than the thing that I wasn't getting. And I lived happily ever after. The end. Thanks, Kai. Felt good to tell that story. Dragoon, B-Way's an alpha. I'd love to join. But you're so loyal to your old outfit. You're in derp. Lovely derp. You feel each side has unique benefits, though. TR's better pilots, more experienced players. Yeah. Yeah, each faction has its own flavors, and they differ for each server. I think that texture that gets painted by the players is one of the coolest things about Planetside. is the fact that you can play New Conglomerate on Miller, New Conglomerate on Emerald, and you get a totally different experience. Because the players have so much agency to create the game. And this is why sometimes I look at the people saying, "Rel, please. Fuck Rel." All these things. And I ask myself, first off, are they taking out their anger? Okay, we've been over this. Also, what is the proper amount of agency to assign the person playing the game versus the person creating the game? How much is the player responsible for their experience versus how much is the game responsible? I think Planetside is a game that puts more of the responsibility on the player compared to a lot of other games you can play. And that is a strength if it's something that you want. All factions have experienced players in an 8 to 9-year-old game. You think players just select NC more often? NC has I think a fantasy that's more appealing to most Western players, I think. If not Rel, it's Higby. Yeah. All right. Freedom underdogs go pew pew pew. My friends new and old, this has been an incredibly enjoyable discussion. It's time for me to wrap this up. So let me give you all my pitch. You see what I do. I am exploring the gamer soul via Planetside. Care a lot about you guys, and I care a lot about this game. And I want to talk about it. This show I'm doing is called Basement Side Weekly. I do it once a week on Mondays. It's been Planetside focused for a few weeks. It's not always going to be Planetside focused. That said, I am workshopping an idea to do a call-in stream like I was talking about before, where I want to do some Planetside focused topics to give folks the opportunity to call in and talk about stuff within the game. It'll be more chill, less on the spot. Something I'm working on. I'm having Smedley on soon. Yes, Smedley doesn't know about it yet, and we've never spoken, but this is true. Absolutely. Absolutely true. And yeah, the other thing that I do is the interview podcast. If you guys don't know about this, I have a podcast called Basement Side Chats, where I talk to streamers, gamers, and game developers. I interviewed Rel last year, and a bunch of other people who stream Planetside. Gotcha, Rapid. And a few weeks ago, I actually interviewed a narrative director at a game called Guild Wars, one I referred to earlier. Very cool conversation about gaming narrative. And those are going to keep going. I'm also just playing Planetside, so you'll see me on stream just jamming. And if you ever want to come hang out when I'm doing that, like that's why I turn the stream on. So y'all should feel free. I think it all speaks for itself. Y'all have been totally lovely tonight. Thanks again to Sirius for the raid. Rabid, Dragoon, and Mukas, thanks for the follows. Repairman, thanks for the big 5 sub drop. That was huge. And did I thank Sirius for the raid? I think I did. I'll do it again just in case. Thanks, Sirius, for the raid. Y'all been lovely. Get out there and start fragging. Oh, Van with the 5 drop. What a legend. Sirius brought you here. A toast to that man. Commander Sirius is a man I have a huge amount of respect for. Huge amount of respect. Van, I gotta go, dude, but I'll be back. We'll be back with more Planetside content here soon on twitch.tv/DeegTV. Peace.